Welcome along, everybody. We are here ready for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix of the ALR 100% League, round 15, which of course usually it's round 2, isn't it, in the season? But of course we are matching the and we need to make sure that we've got the right audio coming through the TVs and the uh, 18 cars in. Ewok is in the session, but he's not in the car, so he just needs to rejoin and get back in his vehicle, and he can get himself started for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Like I said, the qualifying format is only, as Ewok is back in the session, which is good news. It is only 18 minutes. Of course, it's short qualifying format, and we'll have to wait and see who's going to be the first out onto the circuit as well. But there we go. Then we'll get ourselves ready for the shootout. We don't really need the tyres, do we? Because we're going to see what the drivers are going to be doing. They're going to be setting their fastest times on the board tonight, and then they'll be getting after the race itself. In about 18-19 minutes, we'll be getting after the race, into the race, I should say. 50 laps there around this very new, or the newest circuit on the calendar, I suppose you could say. Although I suppose actually, is Miami newer? I think Miami is a bit newer, isn't it? So it's one of the second newest circuit on the calendar, as KD is the first out on track, as I think Ewok has got himself back in the car. Good news indeed. We are missing Sick as Muck, who was supposedly probably not woken up, unfortunately, in the Mercedes there, reserving tonight there, and of course who was the other one, Scooby Stew, who is on his way back from work, so hopefully he can get himself back in the car. He did say he should hopefully be in before the end of quali, so he can at least take part in the race itself. But here we go then. The qualifying is underway. We've got KD there out on track, who is going to be leading the way there for the first lap in anger around this very fast-paced Saudi Arabia or Jeddah Corniche circuit. So let's see what the drivers can do, how they're going to handle this circuit. It's a lot different to a lot of the more traditional circuits, isn't it, as well? Much more fast-paced, much more flowing, but very easy to lose the car into a wall, as we might see tonight. Unfortunately, we'll have to hope for the driver's sake that is not going to be the case. But we'll have to wait and see, like I said, how it all unfolds. Let me just turn off the volume on this one and see what the comments are saying in the comment section. I should say, evening all from Serious Mushroom, and they said good evening as well from Ewok. Connection looking sus. So yeah, I think connection issues there for Ewok there, getting himself into the lobby as KD does start his lap in anger. But Ewok, I think, has got himself into the car, hopefully, so that should mean he can, well, fingers crossed, he will stay there for the remaining part of qualifying and at the 50 laps that we're going to be unfolding in front of our very eyes in about 15 minutes as well. Scooby Stew says, Scooby Stew, where are you? Says Serious Mushroom. I think like I said, he's just joining. He's hopefully joining in qualifying. He did say he was going to be making it back just in time potentially. So fingers crossed we'll have him in. And I don't know where Sick as Muck has gone, but again, I think it seems like every Wednesday he falls asleep before the race and then doesn't wake up in time. So there we go. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be coming back because it doesn't seem like he wants to turn up anyway. Even though he does vote to turn up anyway. So we'll have to wait and see. Fingers crossed he might be able to turn up in qualifying as well. But we are underway here with KD, who's going to take us through the Sector 2 now. Of course, there's 3 DRS zones around this circuit as well to add to the speed around the circuit naturally. But then there's, like I said, 3 sort of artificially sped up parts where you've got the DRS there in Sector 2, I should say, and now into Sector 3. You've got this the first of Sector 3 around towards the final corner. 27 turns around this circuit, so I'm not going to get all the turn numbers wrong. I mean, right, I should say. As now we go around the final corner, which believe it's turn 27 out of 27 that is, and there's another DRS zone again down the main straight, so plenty of overtaking opportunities around this circuit as KD there goes fastest so far with a 28.183 there in the Aston Martin. Good stuff indeed from him. Let's have a look and see what Martin's going to be doing. Martin, of course, his debut, his full-time debut in the Alfa Romeo. His teammate of R2B2 is unfortunately not well today, so he was going to be taking part as well for his Alfa Romeo debut. Of course, has made a few reserve appearances in the 100% league already, but unfortunately is, like I said, not well to start this race. So he's been, he's got a very reliable driver in his own seat, which is Dan Murphy there. Although Dan Murphy's forgotten his car keys, and once again is going to be starting from the back of the grid, along with Reflection, Serious Mushroom, and Immortal. It looks like Immortal not taking part in this qualifying session as well. Of course, the championship leader there is quite far out in the championship lead, so he's got some breathing space there between himself and Kydell, who is currently in P2 as well in the standings and in the qualifying as well. 28.6 there for Kydell, 29.5 for Ginner. Here comes Martin now to start sector 3 into the next complex of corners we go, and we're getting through the corners very quickly. Of course, it's needed, like I said, a very, very fast-paced circuit, so it's very easy to, like I said, if you make a mistake, lose that concentration for a split second, you're off into a wall, and there's lots of them around the circuit, so they're waiting for you. But nice done there from Martin. He's gone round very nicely on this lap there, completing the. He's not put the DRS on. He has put the DRS on now, and up the line for Martin. He's done a 32.0 there, puts himself P4. Currently, his Vintage there has done a 33.7 there in the Williams. I don't think that's a representative time from Vintage. I think he can go a bit faster than that. We can see the pace that he has got in that car's. Gamer there puts himself up into P3. Aston Martin 1.3 as it stands at the moment. 28.8 there for the Gamer. I was going to say for the Aston Martin as well, but puts himself there up into the podium positions as it stands at the moment. That is, of course, there is plenty of time. There's still 12.5 minutes left for the drivers to try and fight their way through. Ewok there is out on track there, so thankfully he's got himself back in the car. We can see him going round now into sector 3, but I think he's just coming round to start his next flying lap. Here comes Kiki though, down towards the I think it's this one's turn 5, I believe it is, isn't it? Goodness knows that if that's right or not, but round into turn 5, and looking good in the Ferrari as well, looking to try and get some good points tonight as well for the Ferrari team. Himself and Kaz are in the red prancing horse, so let's see what they can do. Into sector 2, very close to the barrier there on the exit of the corner, and you sometimes, especially if you go through there too quickly, you can clip that barrier on the exit because you go through the curbs and they sort of dislodge the car, don't they? And they unsettle the car, I suppose, and then you get thrown into the wall. And that, luckily for Kiki, he managed to control that just in time to stop himself from doing just that as well. He's now coming through sector 3. Here he comes there in the Red Bull, not the Red Bull, it's a red car, it's a red Ferrari that is, and now around the final turn there to complete the lap. Let's see what the Ferrari driver can do. Looks like it's been a pretty quick lap indeed so far, but up to the line, what's it going to be? It's going to be a 29, that's a 30.4 there, puts himself P5 there in between Vintage and Ginner for the time being as well. Good stuff from him as well. Vintage has improved there to a 31.3 as well, so he did manage to improve on that 33 time that he did, although it seems to be a bit of a queue here coming through. I'm not quite sure what the order is here. It seems like everybody's getting in the way of each other there, but thankfully I think they're going to sort themselves out very soon. Siege Ewok has come back in the pit lane there. He's gone back to the pits there. Chewy's going to start his lap now. Let's have a look on board with Chewy. We'll ride on board as he comes down at the main straight. DRS of course activated before you get to the start finish line, and now the treacherous turn 1. Can you get the braking point right for the entry, and then of course making sure you maximise the speed on the exit to go through turn 2 here. Very nicely done indeed. I think this counts as a turn as well, turn 3 here, and now we're heading towards turn 4, which is a very blind left-hander. You can get that very wrong. Now around turn 5 and turn 6, which leads into turn 7. Very nicely done indeed, making sure you try and keep it flowing, keep the speed up through these corners. And I've lost count of which turn we're at already, but he's doing a good job there. He's Chewy, of course, looking good to see if he can get a representative time on the board as well. Now through the long left hand, you don't want to go too close to the curve here because it can sort of auto spin you, as I think somebody was talking about the curves auto spinning everybody in this game so far, but I think that like to keep off the curbs and you're not so bad. Now through into sector 2, very nice done indeed, again close to the wall on the exit, but he managed to keep it out of the wall for the front wing safe. And now with the second DRS zone, or the first DRS zone on the flying lap, heading towards sector 3 now. Very easy to get this turn wrong, but he's managed to keep it very nicely done indeed there from Chewy. Very well controlled as we once again now into the second DRS zone before we come up to the final turn there, and heading towards the last part of the lap now. This is the highest speed of the lap and the highest pace of the whole lap as well. Coming round into the final turn now. Once more, the DRS is activated on the line here, and up to the line. What's it going to be from the Haas driver? It's going to be a very good time, I think, indeed. A 30.3 there, puts himself P5 for Chewy. Good stuff indeed, and that is going to be something that Serious Mushroom, I think, will be very happy about as well in the comment section, because he's looking good. His teammate Chewy in the Haas at the moment. Bannister there has set a 2 minute 10 there. I don't think that's a representative time, unfortunately, for the Alpine driver. Of course, switching from the Alfa Romeo to the Alpine, he has lost a bit of a left end plate there as well on that Alpine car, so just looking to get himself recovered to the pit lane as I'm going to butcher this, I'm very, very sorry, but Schneidem, I'm sorry if I got that wrong, has put himself up into P3 there with the 28.700. Good stuff indeed from the Red Bull debutant, of course, reserving tonight as well in place of Acid Masters, and looking good indeed currently in P3, and looking representative of for a good run in this race if he can hold on to that pace as well. Chewy for the wins here. Serious Mushroom there supporting his teammate as well. He's dropped down to P6 now with Schneidem's lap as well, but he's got himself up in the higher echelons of the point paying positions at the moment, has Chewy, so that is looking good for himself at the start of the race at least. So let's see what he can do. Can he capitalise on that and get himself some more points on the board this race as well? We've got 8 minutes left of qualifying, so there's still some time left for drivers to come out on the track, although there is four drivers who are not going to be taking part. There is Reflection, Dan Murphy, Mushroom and Immortal there, not being able to get themselves out of the pit lane, so that is them done and dusted already in this qualifying session. Here comes Ewok there back out on track, and he's looking to set his first lap in anger after aborting the previous lap time as well. So let's have a look and see what he can do here as well in his first flying attempt as we go around the final corner now, maximising the speed on the exit, because of course this is the start of the flying lap. ERS is activated. The fuel light's already flashing there on that Mercedes as well, so that means he's very light on fuel. He's turned himself off now, so never mind. And now towards turn one we go, making sure you get that right. He's gone over the curb slightly there. That might have unsettled the car there on the exit towards turn two. Managed to keep it very nicely there on the exit towards turn three now, and now heading towards turn four with precision. There was the Mercedes driver, much better precision than the current Mercedes drivers in real life, that is. So of course, once again, the Mercedes is much better in this game than it is in real life at the moment. So yeah, good stuff indeed from Ewok, putting that Mercedes where he wants it to be, and he's looking good in this first time. He's done a 33.0 there in Sector 1, and now we head in towards Sector 2. Remember on the last game when Saudi Arabia was added, we did have a DRS zone sort of between that chicane and then the long left-hander. Of course, that was actually incorrectly added there because we didn't know exactly where, or the game coding didn't actually know where the DRS zone was going to be until we had the actual race. And of course, they have moved the DRS zone now to this part here of Sector 2, heading towards Sector 3 now as well. So it's quite the last part of the lap is very, very high paced because it's so full of DRS zones as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see if there's going to be any overtakes and any mind games around this part of the lap, especially in the race itself, when we've got some people trying to skip their way ahead, and of course having to play the DRS zone to their advantage as well. No DRS activated. Well, it was activated very late there for Ewok there as he comes across the line. It's a 29.9 there, puts himself P6 indeed. Good stuff indeed from the Mercedes driver as well on his first run. I think he might have time as well to get himself back to the pit lane to get himself another set of soft compound tyres on that car and go again for another run as well. Good evening and good luck, says Kaz as well in the comment section. Of course, Kaz not out on track just yet, so we'll have to wait and see if he's going to come out in the next 5 minutes or so. But there we go. As good luck, Kaz, says Serious Mushroom in the comments as well. And then Equaz has said Aston, and I think they're supporting the Aston Martin drivers. Of course, KD currently on pole position, which will be his first pole position of the season as well. Gamer there in P4 at the moment as well. I think Gamer there will probably be looking to improve on his time as well. I'm sure he's got something in the bank there to get himself further up towards his teammate. So we'll have to wait and see how that develops as the session wears on. Chewy, I think, coming back out on track. We have got an Aston Martin coming back out on track as well. So that is good news indeed. Into the pits comes Kiki there to complete that. I think he invalidated on that flying lap. So he's called it a day there on this one. He's going to try and get himself back in the pits and back out again to start another lap very soon. Greetings from you too, sir, says DJ, from DJ. So greetings to you and greetings to me and greetings to everybody, whoever has, I don't know. I've run out of words. But nonetheless, we've got yellow flag out on track. I think it's Ewok there just getting himself back to the pit lane after running out of fuel. Hopefully he doesn't get in the way of Jinner, who is coming through sector 3 now. He's on a flying lap as well as Jinner. Here he comes now in the Alpine, very close to the wall there on the left hand side. I think we're going to see him as he's on the way in, but he's managed to get out of the way there of the speeding Alpine there, now down towards the final part of the lap. Here he comes then up to the line. What's it going to be from Jinner? Can he improve? He has improved by 0.6 of a second there, 28.960 there, puts himself P5. I think that keeps himself P5, wasn't it? I think he went right behind Ewok in the end. But there we go, he's finished up in P5 for the time being, and technically I think still has enough time to get himself around if he can get himself back to the pits quickly enough. So we'll have to wait and see. But Jinner, they're currently in P5, looking good indeed for the lead Alpine currently, because of course Bannister has had a bit of an issue there on his first flying lap. Let's see what he can do now on his second flying lap as he comes down towards the final corner of the circuit. Here he comes now. Here comes Bannister, as I'm going to have to read the comments in a minute, but I've seen some comments that are going to make me laugh. But there we go. As Bannister crosses the line, he has improved there by almost 40 seconds, I think it was. But he's done a 30.622 there to put himself P9 for the time being there, just ahead of Vintage and Martin, who are the other drivers who have set time. Unfortunately, Siege, Vessia and Kaz still stuck in the pit lane, so they haven't got themselves sorted just yet. And let's have a look and see what Chewy's up to, as Chewy is out on track now, looking good indeed in that house, currently P7 there. Can he improve to get himself further up the order, potentially get himself in the 29s? He could be able to beat Ewok to P6 potentially. We'll find out. As we got as Rick has said, watching from the bed now, as many points as Martin can bring home for the team. Of course, it's R2B2 there, of course, who is a full-time driver in the Alfa Romeo. Unfortunately, is struck down with a fever there on his due to be his first full-time appearance. So he's going to have to sit out this one, and we're going to have a break week, of course, next week. So we're going to have to sit out next week as well for the break week, and then we'll be back. I think we're going to be back in. Oh God, is it Singapore? No, we've done Singapore. I can't remember what track it is, but we'll have to figure that out before the end of the stream. And then we've got good evening for DJ and for Equaz as well. Don't get shy because I'm here, says DJ. Yeah, I think that was the bit that caught me out. So I'm always shy when you're around. It tickles me. But there we go. Evening to Mushroom as well. Here comes Chewy then up to the line. What can he do? Can he improve? He's coming back in the pit lane. Is the Haas driver. He's abandoned his lap time. Unfortunately, maybe he wasn't going to improve enough to get himself further up the order, so he's decided to call it a day already. Has Chewy. I think he's going to run out of time. That's him done and dusted in this qualifying session. Same for Kiki as well. Kiki is coming out of the pits, so he might be able to get himself around. Can he get himself around in a minute and a half? It is a 1 minute 30 lap, so it's going to be tight indeed. It might be close to the that checkered flag for the qualifying to get himself to the line. Let's have a look and see where we've got Martin there stuck on track. What's happening to Martin there? He's had a problem there. No, he's not. He's got himself out of the way of the Ferrari coming through on his outlap. But yeah, Martin, they're having an issue there on that lap. He's, I think, having to abandon this one as well. Outlaps now for Siege, Vessia, and Kiki and Kaz as well. Sorry to say. Here comes KD. Though we'll have a look at KD. Well, we'll have a look at his teammate, I think, first. No, he's just starting a lap. There is Gamer. So we'll come back to him. Who's going to be the next to cross the line is what I'm trying to find. Here comes Ewok now up to the line. No, he's just starting his lap as well. Here comes the Red Bull. Notice the other Red Bull of Vessia just start on his lap now. He hasn't started his lap just yet, I don't think. Or is he just trying to give that Alpine a tow? Maybe he is. I'm not quite sure. As Vessia is starting to go around the final corner. He is starting his lap now as well. So I'm not quite sure what the plan is for Jinner here. Jinner is right behind him. And he's coming back in the pits. There is the Alpine driver. So that's him done and dusted. Here comes KD. And KD is finishing his lap. He's done a 28.0 there for KD. Currently improving to sit himself comfortably on pole position by over half a second from Kydell. And that is looking good indeed there for the Aston Martin driver. Very nice stuff indeed from KD. And here comes Kiki as well. Kiki unfortunately validating. No, he has just started his lap. As we did I completely missed that. I did see that. I was even commentating on it previously, and I've still messed it up there. So there we go. As Schneider has got himself up into P2, improved there by almost I think it was about 4/10 of a second there to a 28.4 there. Puts himself just under 4/10 behind KD currently in P2. P2. Kydell has crossed the line, but he hasn't improved enough to take back that P2 from Schneider, and then he's staying in P3 for the time being. Jinner there crosses the line in P5. Ewok still on a lap. Chewie P7 at best. Here comes Kiki, though. Kiki's on a lap as well. We'll have to look back at that. We'll come across the line. I think someone's crossed the line. Siege crossed the line there for P6. Unfortunately for Siege, only one run, and I think that might have cost him. Up to the line goes Gamer, though, and then Gamer has improved to a 28.162, puts himself P2, and that, at the moment, unless Kiki can have something to say about that, or Vessier, that is going to be an Aston Martin lockout of the front row for the first time in this season, and the first time in I think in ALR this season as well in total. So not just in the 100% league, in every ALR league that is as well. So fantastic stuff indeed there for KD and for Gamer if they can hold on to it. Here comes Kiki though. Can he do something to withstand or uphold the praise, I should say, for the Aston Martins? Can he get himself in between, or can he even get himself on pole position? Let's have a look and see what he can do up to the line. It's going to be close indeed. Here comes Kiki now as Ewok has left the session again. He's up to P6. There's Kiki, 29.6 there. There is a front row lockout for the Aston Martin team, and KD is your pole sitter there for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which will be coming up in just a few moments time. Hopefully Ewok can get himself back in the session as well, because I'm not quite sure what's going on with his internet connection at the moment. Fingers crossed he can get himself sorted as we're waiting for KD to get himself round into the pit lane. But KD there is doing a lap of honour, I think, at this stage. Of course, getting himself on pole position there by a tenth and a half there to his teammate of X-Gamer. And Gamer there looking good indeed there on the front row as well in P2. Looking good for Aston Martin in this one. And maybe carrying on the form of real life as well. It looks like they've done a good job there of KD and X-Gamer of replicating the form of Alonso and of course Lance Stroll in the Bahrain Grand Prix. And this is maybe a preview, like I was saying, to the actual Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, where we'll see an Aston Martin 1-2 and maybe even an Aston Martin 1-2 on the podium as well at the end of this race. Let's find out as we're going to get into the race in just a few moments time. There is your classification there for the qualifying. Then KD currently on pole position there with a fantastic lap time indeed, almost 1.5 tenths, like I said, ahead of his teammate X-Gamer there. Both of them looking good in the qualifying session. Schneider there gets P3 there on his first reserve appearance as well, looking good indeed for the Red Bull driver. Kaido in P4 couldn't improve on his final run. Jinner there in P5 looking good for the Alpine. Kiki there, we saw him cross the line on his last attempt there. He did get to the line in the end, and that was a 29.6 there, puts himself P6 as well. Siege P7, Ewok is in P8 but not in the car at the moment. Chewie there P9, Bannister in P10. Then we've got Vintage, Martin, Immortal, Serious Mushroom, Dan Murphy, Vessier, and I think it was Kaz as well, who couldn't get to the couldn't complete a lap time unfortunately there. But then nonetheless, we'll be ready to get going very soon for the start of the race. Hopefully, like I said, oh, it went bad. Weather screws up my connection. What I would do for yourself there, Ewok, is I wouldn't join back until the formation lap has started, because then I think you can take control at the beginning of the race. But unfortunately, I think you're going to have to miss out on the formation lap anyway, which is a bit of a shame, because I think the problems with the connection hopefully will mean that you can't get back into the race at all if you try and join now. But if you try and join a bit later, you should be all right. Fingers crossed anyway. So hopefully you can hear me on that one, and hopefully you can join back very soon. Like I said, when we get the formation lap underway, I think it's all right to for you to jump back in your car. Fingers crossed that will be available to you as well. So fingers crossed we can get Ewok back in the car, back in the racing seat, and we can get ourselves underway for the start of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in a few seconds time, I should say, because we are ready to get going. I think the driver is now just selecting their strategies, getting everything sorted, having a last cup of tea before they get themselves ready to get racing in this one. Seems to be taking a while. Hopefully there's no connection issues there on this one, but we'll have to wait and see. Fingers crossed everybody is loading in all right. Maybe we're just taking a bit of a time there to finish their cups of tea and whatnot, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Fingers crossed there's not a lobby issue, but it seems like it. Oh no, we have got the timer now. It was the drivers there taking their time there, making me scared, of course. But we're ready to get going in about 20 seconds time there for the formation lap, and then we can hopefully get Ewok back in his car as well. and then we can get ourselves underway for the race in about a minute or so's time, because we are, of course, got the formation up to go, and then we'll be ready to get ourselves racing in the in Jeddah, I suppose you could say, the Jeddah Corniche circuit as well. So looking forward to seeing how this one is going to develop. Like I said, we are ready to get going now, I think. Fingers crossed. We are just getting ourselves sorted. There we go. We have got everyone on circuit, I think, just about. I'm not sure if Ewok is in his car. It looks like he actually could be, which is good news. No, maybe not. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to get that sorted. So hopefully Ewok can join back now in the formation lap. He isn't in his car at the moment, unfortunately, which is a big shame. But hopefully, as well, like I said, he can get himself in the car at some point in the race, even if it is after we've started from the grid. But nonetheless, we'll take you through the grid, as well. Unfortunately, Scooby Stu couldn't join in time either, so that is what a shame that is. But there we go. Kaz there in P18 there on the medium compound tyres. Reflection on the mediums as well in P17. Then we've got Vestier on the hard compound tyres in P16. Of course, his Red Bull teammate looking the opposite way, up in the top steps of the podium at the moment. But there we go, Vessier starting on the hards, looking to go long in the first stint. Then we've got Dan Murphy on the hards in P15 as well. Serious Mushroom in P14 on the medium compound tyres. Immortal there in P13 on the hards, looking to go long as well. Current championship leader, can he get through the order and get himself back up into the top spot where he's very familiar with. Martin there in P12 there on the medium compound tyres. Vintage just outside the top 10 there on the soft compound tyres. So he's looking to go very quick in the first stint. Then we've got Bannister on the hards in P10. Chewy on the softs as well in P9. So Chewy and Vintage looking to get their sights set on a few more positions there in the start of the race. Ewok there, like I said, on the medium compound tyres, but he hasn't been able to get himself back in the car just yet, which is a big shame there. Siege in P7 on the hards, as is Kiki in P6 in the Ferrari as well. Jinner there also on the hard compound tyres in the Alpine in P5. Then we've got Kaidel on the second row of the grid on the medium compound tyres in P4. Schneider there on the mediums as well in P3. Gamer, though, has gone for the alternative strategy and gone for the hard compound tyres from P2 on the grid. That's going to be a bit of a difficult start, I would say, into turn one compared to the medium runners behind it. But he's starting P2 on those hard compound tyres. And our pole sitter, of course, KD on the medium compound tyres as well. So look, KD looking to start off strong in this race. He's got a good result on the cards, I would expect. I don't want to jinx him though, but we are lining up now for the start of the race there of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Right then, I think everyone's almost got themselves back in their positions on the grid slot. We are ready to get going there for the for round 15 here in Saudi Arabia. I think we'll have to wait and see when the red lights do come on, but hopefully they don't cause any issues there. We have got red lights there, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights here in Saudi Arabia, and away we go for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We've already got Ewok dropping down the order. I think he's got a problem there. He hasn't gone off the grid, has he? His start was a bit horrific there, wasn't it? Into turn 1 and 2, we got through nicely, I think, for the majority. Jinner's got himself up into P3, getting ahead of Schneider there on the medium compound tyres. Jinner with a great start there indeed. Of course, from those hard compound tyres, KD keeps the lead, as I think Ewok might have got himself back in the car. We've got some yellow flags in sector 1. We've got drivers dropping down the order. We have Chewy and Martin off the order. There is Ewok. Ewok has left the session, so he was in the session at some point, but he has now left the session. But I'm not quite sure he's actually running in P16 at the moment. He couldn't get himself. He's in the train at the moment as well, to be honest with him. So if he can get himself back in the session, he can resume his race. But Chewy there having a bit of issue. Serious Mushroom and Vessier switching places there into the long left-hander, as it seems like as Ewok has got himself past Kaz even as well. So not going too badly for Ewok at the moment. He won't get any points if he's not in the car when he finishes the race. Schneider's getting back past Jinner as well. Here comes Kaidel on the back of the Alpine as well. Maybe a bit of a mistake there for Jinner there through the exit of sector 1 into 2, and now he's under pressure there from the McLaren there into sector 3 we go for the end of the first lap. Already KD has got a 1.5 second gap to X-Gamer there in P2. He's splitting away from his teammate as fast as he can there on those medium compound tyres. Schneider there, I think, will be looking to get himself up into P2 very shortly as well, and Kaidel, I think, will be looking to follow that Red Bull through as well very soon on those medium compound tyres. But the hard runners have got away all right at this stage of the race so far. We were expecting them to be dropping down the order. Ewok has joined back again, which is good news as well. Hopefully he can get himself back in the car. Like I said, he's not too far off the back of the order. AC Immortal has lost places we'll have a look at position changes because I should look at that anyway. AC Immortals actually dropped down a place there to Vessier. Vessier's up 3 places already. Good start indeed from the Red Bull driver. And now looking to get his sights set on. Always got an issue there in the background. Cass is off the circuit at turn 1. He's managed to get himself back on, but everyone seems to be okay. Martin and Chewy are able to carry on as well. No damage there for the 2 drivers. We saw have an incident there at the exit of this turn here, actually, wasn't it? On the first lap, they managed to get themselves through nicely on this one. Yellow flags for Kiki. Kiki's off the circuit. He's looking the wrong way in the Ferrari there. He's got himself back around. And unfortunately for Kiki, that's a big spin there. He's just letting the drivers of Chewy and Martin rejoin the track safely there for the Ferrari. Good stuff indeed, and very sportsmanlike as well. Get himself back underway, and like I said, there's still plenty to play for there for Kiki left in this race. There's still plenty of time left in this race as well. We're on to lap 2. It is a quick lap indeed, but we're now on to lap 2 as here comes got Schneider. There's Schneider, I'll call him. Now into sector 3 we go. There's going to be DRS available on the next lap. And I think Schneider there is going to be pushing like hell to try and get himself past very soon indeed. Almost in the back of the Aston Martin there. He's looking side by side. It's going to be close indeed. We saw Mercedes and a Red Bull here have a few issues there on the last Grand Prix around here. In real life that was, but luckily one Red Bull here is very well behaved compared to the other one in real life, and looking good indeed. But Schneider now looking to push on. Here comes Jinner as well. Jinner's all over the back of them here as well. Kydell dropped off the back for the time being. KD sets the fastest lap of the race so far. He's checked out in the distance at the moment. Here comes Gamer though. No, Gamer's kept hold of that position there into turn 2, into turn 1 and 2. It's all gone okay for Gamer on this lap. But I think now the drivers behind are going to be pushing like hell to try and get themselves through. Siege has dropped off the back by almost 1.2 seconds there. He's not going to be within DRS range of the McLaren of Kydell for the time being. The gap's already emerging there. Kiki's back in the pit lane already. I'm not quite sure if he got damage there on that with that spin. It looks like he's coming in the pit there. He has lost the right end plate there. I don't think he had damage there on the initial spin that we saw. So it might have been got it somewhere else around the lap. Unfortunately for Kiki, he has got a new front wing on that car and a new set of medium compound tyres to get himself back underway. Fingers crossed he can get himself back in this race. AC Walker there is back up into P13 with Kiki's struggles there, but he's having issues himself getting himself past the likes of Vessier and Sirius Mushroom there, holding on to the outer edges of the points for the time being. Here comes Sirius Mushroom Reflection there right behind Dan Murphy. He's had a good start there up into P6. Up into 6th place. As I say, Snyder's got himself past Gamer there at the first attempt there with the DRS, and he's got himself up into P2 there. We're going wide though into sector 3. That is going to entice Gamer to come back at him now with the more DRS to fight back. Here he comes now down to the straight. You can see here from the helicopter shot as we go down towards the final turn. And Gamer's got himself back up into P2 there. Here comes Vessier and here comes Kydell and Jinner. Jinner's dropped off the back of this battle here. I think now the medium compound tyres, they're really pushing themselves now to try and get themselves back up further up the order. Here comes Schneider back down the main straight now with DRS and ERS as well. He's going to go down the outside there, or around the outside here. Is he going to go into turn 1? No, not quite. He stays behind. Here comes Jinner and Kydell. No moves made between those two either. And Siege is now caught up to the back of this battle as well. So Siege is going to be looking to get himself interested in what's going on ahead. Out in front though, it's a 3.5 second gap now to Gamer and KD there. KD really checking out on those medium compound tyres as well. He's doing a great job indeed. We're on to lap 4 already. Sirius Mushroom had an issue though. Sirius Mushroom has dropped down behind Vessier and Immortal. He's still going though well in this race. He's only just behind as well. He's still within DRS range of the Alpha Tauri Championship leader as well. So can he cling on for the time being and get himself back within that DRS to at least help pull himself along? He's not too far off at the moment, so good stuff indeed from Mushroom. He's got himself composed once again and get himself back in this race. Ewok is right behind him now as well. Ewok as well back in his car, which is good news as well, because like I said, he was having a few issues in qualifying. But there we go, got ourselves sorted and we're back underway. Here comes Schneider once again alongside Gamer before the DRS has even been activated really, and he's into sector 3 now ahead, back up into P2, making sure that entry and exit is much more smoother this time for the Red Bull driver. And now can he get himself away from the Aston Martin behind? Can he defend that P2? Can he keep hold of that P2 for the next lap and then pull himself away from the Aston Martin into the final turn? No moves made. Here comes Jinner and Kydell. Still no moves made between those two either. They've lost out there to the DRS of Gamer as well now. Here we go now down the main straight. Can Gamer fight back? Can he get back the position that he so desperately needs? I think into turn 1 it's going to be close indeed. Schneider there covers him off there into turn 1 and 2. We've got the move done. The Jinner and Kydell switching places. Kydell up into P4. He's done it. He's just about done it. I think so. Oh, it's going to be tight indeed down this next section. Jinner has to slot in behind there. I think that was very wise from Jinner. Otherwise, it would have cost, I think, potentially him a front wing and potentially Kydell even a place in the race as well. But now he can use Kydell to try and catch back up to the drivers ahead and get themselves back in the DRS train as well. Here comes Gamer. Once again, he's lost out 7.5 tenths, almost 8 tenths now to Schneider and Josh on those medium compound tyres. You can really see the difference in grip and the speed on the mediums at this stage of the race. Of course, we can see that from KD as well, who's checked out in the distance now. He is almost 4 seconds away in the lead of this race and looking very comfortable indeed in that Aston Martin. Of course, starting on the medium compound tyres. His teammate Gamer started on the hard compound tyres. So there is a difference in strategy there between the two Astons. We'll have to wait and see which one's going to be the best strategy, of course, when they cross the finish line to finish off lap 50, that is. But there we go then. At the moment, it is looking the good way of the medium compound tyres. But of course, we all expect that, as we do expect that in Formula 1, to switch back at some stage in the race in favour of the opposite strategy as well. So we'll have to wait and see. There's no ERS left there for the Red Bull there. You can see the red light flashing on the back of the Red Bull diffuser there. You can see that from on board of Gamer as well. So that might bring him back within the fray. AC Immortal and Dan Murphy switching places as Caton sets the fastest lap of the race up into P10 there. Back in the points now is AC Immortal. He's got Dan Murphy right behind him now, and Vessier is slotting in behind these two as well. There's no ERS left for the Alfa Romeo either. Into the pits comes Vintage, I think. Vintage has called it a day on those soft compound tyres very early on indeed. Into the pit lane goes the Williams driver. So that is him done and dusted there on the soft compound tyres already. Dan Murphy and Vessier switching places all into turn one. Looks like there was contact there between the Red Bull and the Alfa Romeo. Vessier's got ahead this time. Into the pits goes Vintage. Like I said, what tyres has gone on to? I think he might have gone on the hard compound tyres. Let's have a look and see. How comes down the pit lane now. He's lost. I thought he lost a bit of right end plate there, but he was all right. Medium compound tyres there for the Williams driver, and off he goes out of the pit exit, backing down into P17. But he's only 6 seconds now behind Martin, who is still going nicely in this race as well too. Has got himself sorted and back up the order. Kaz there, got a bit wide there through the chicane, but he's got himself sorted as well. And now Serious Mushroom is looking to chase down Dan Murphy. Dan Murphy all over the back of Vessier for the final points pen positions as it stands at the moment. The gap out in front, or between the top runners there we saw battling for the first few laps, has split over 1 second, apart from between Jinner and Siege. Siege is now going to have DRS there on the Alpine of Jinner there through towards the end of Sector 3, towards the end of the lap. And let's see what he can do now. Can he make any moves into turn one? The red light flashing there on the Alpine there. We can see for Jinner there, he's running out of ERS. That means, or he's recharging the battery. That's what it means really. So he's used up a lot of the ERS. Now he needs to save it up again so he can use it later on in the race. So far so good. We're on to lap 7 of 50, and like I said, it's going to be hopefully quite a quick one, this one as well, to be fair, because we speed through the laps as Reflection and Bannister switching places. Here comes Immortal as well. No, he thinks better of it, doesn't want to stick his nose in where it's going to be cut off. And Bannister being overtaken there by Reflection, and now Immortal all over the back of these two as well, really pushing them on, and this is going to be very interesting indeed. Can he get himself through at this part of the lap? Bannister, they're going a bit wide. Gamer's got a 3-second penalty. That's the first penalty. Oh, off the circuit. It looks like, what's going to happen here? Bannister's off the circuit completely. He's not off the circuit, sorry. He's just gone for a spin there. He couldn't control the car, and that is lost control. He's lost AC Immortal positions as well. Unfortunate incident there for Immortal and for Bannister, but like I said, Bannister couldn't do much to control that. He was literally at the mercy of the track and of the walls as well. But thankfully, I don't think he went into the wall, which is good news. Immortal, though, unfortunately lost positions too because he had to slow down for that incident there. He's lost out to Dan Murphy, Vessier and Serious Mushroom. I think Ewok got himself through as well. And unfortunate scenes there as Dan Murphy picks up another penalty as well. That is the second penalty of the race that we've received so far. Of course, it's Gamer there with a 3-second penalty, who has picked up as well in the first few laps, as has Dan Murphy as well. But like I said, it was a very easy one to pick up penalties around, so I'm sure we'll see some more penalties fly in over the next few laps or so. Like I said, it's very on those high speed corners, very easy to go wide or go a bit too early there into the entry, and that of course in this game will cause a few bits and pieces in terms of penalties and that sort of thing. Here comes Serious Mushroom around the outside of Dan Murphy, trying to get himself through for P9. They're both stuck behind Vessier at the moment into the pits. Now I thought he was coming in the pit lane there, but he's not just yet. Ewok has been passed by Immortal there on the traction there in towards the main straight down towards turn 1. Here comes Serious Mushroom. They're trying to go around the outside of the Red Bull. further up the order. Let's have a look at here. Look, see here, what can Dan Murphy do? He's now got Immortal all over the back of him as well, and they're joining up into a queue once again. Bannister is not caught up to this queue just yet. I think he's having issues trying to get those tyres back into a nice operating window. Of course, we saw him lose it around here. I think just the tyre temperatures might have gone a bit too high, and that, of course, has cost him the spin that we saw here on the last lap there. Vessier picks up another penalty there. That is the third penalty of the night so far. But of course, as I was saying, we do expect the penalties to come in during this race because, of course, the nature of the circuit and the nature of the corners there. Serious Mushroom there is still within the DRS range of the Red Bull at the moment. He's got Dan Murphy, like I said, pushing behind him. AC Immortal as well. Ewok has joined them battle, and I think Bannister will do as well very soon. Once he's got those tyres back into the operating temperature window. He's looking still squirrely there in the Alpine, unfortunately there for Bannister. He's having a few issues there, so hopefully he can get those tyres cooled down. Here comes Dan Murphy once again. Here comes Serious Mushroom as well. Kiki picks up a penalty there in P18 at the moment. He's still doing a good job of staying in this race. Here comes Immortal now all over the back of Dan Murphy into the final couple of corners. He's going around the outside at the moment. He's into P10. There is the AlphaTauri, and now can he get himself up into P9? He's got to try and get himself past Serious Mushroom there, who's having troubles getting past Vessier, and Immortal there carries on up into P10 there, getting ahead of Dan for the time being. And now down the main straight we go. Gamer and Jinner switch places there into turn 4. Jinner there having got himself through. Bessier and Mushroom switching places as well into turn 1 and 2. Serious Mushroom there going late on the brakes, but Vessier even later on the brakes as well, keeping hold of that P9, P8 for the time being. Immortal's gone through, and I think Dan Murphy might come through as well. Here we go into turn 4. It's close indeed as Dan Murphy has gone through as well. So Serious Mushroom is losing time, losing places to everybody here as well. He's let a poke a few people through in the wrong part of the circuit there, unfortunately for the Haas driver. He's now off the circuit himself as well. He's got himself back underway, but he's dropped down to P11 for the time being. Ewok going wide as well as Dan Murphy as well. They've lost out now the DRS there to Immortal. Immortal now on the back of the Red Bull, getting himself through. Very nicely done indeed as well. And now all over the back there of the Red Bull of Vessier. Can he get himself up into P8 very soon? I think that will be the case. But we saw there, I think Gamer might have made a mistake there into turn 1 or 2 to allow Jinner to get himself through up into P4. But now can he hold on to that and get after the drivers ahead of him? We shall see. But now DRS available there for AC Immortal now into sector 2. We're heading towards sector 3. This is where the DRS zones start to pick up, and we can really see the extra speed that they give you through the straights there, or not so straight straights around this circuit. I think only the main straight is pretty straight. I think this is one of the main straights as well, but it's not got much of a straight to it. It's a very curved straight, but it's still got DRS available to the drivers if you're within that 1 second window. And at the moment, Immortal is staying behind at the Red Bull. And now let's see what he can do. Can he make any moves now down towards turn 1? Into turn 1 we go. And I think Immortal's already made the move there with the DRS assistance as well. He's got himself ahead before the braking zone, up into P8 there, and ahead of the Red Bull. Good stuff indeed. Dan Murphy has got himself back in the DRS range of Vessier just about. Serious Mushroom is being pulled along now as well, as is Ewok in this battle. Good to see Ewok back in the race, at least after the technical issues that he was suffering in qualifying. He has got himself into the car and is able to, it looks like he's able to take part. We've done 10 laps of the race so far. We're a fifth of the way through. And like I said, it's going to go pretty quickly as well with the drivers there flying through this circuit. Even though it's 27 turns, most of the corners, and pretty much all the corners apart from let's say turn 1 and maybe the final turn as well, are pretty much fast paced or flat out. So it's a pretty quick lap indeed. With the walls very close indeed. The concentration needs to be kept high. So far, everyone's done a good job at the moment, but we might get some tiredness, some fatigue drawing in towards the end of this one, and that might cause a few more incidents later on in this race. We'll have to find out. But at the moment, it's being pretty good, and that is probably a curse of the commentator, and that is not what you want. But there we go. Gamer's having a few issues, I think, here, as now he's dropped off the back of Jinner. He's now in the clutches of Siege. Siege now with the DRS now down the main straight. Can he make any moves into turn 1 on the Aston Martin? And I think Gamer might be suffering with a few issues here. Hopefully he can get himself sorted and back underway, but he's kept hold of P5 for the time being. Reflection is staying very nice and comfortably in P7 at the moment, and now Immortal is going to be trying to chase them down in the rest of this race. Dan Murphy not within the 1 second window of Vessier to keep hold of that, to get after that P9 position. Serious Mushroom there, can he make a move into turn 1? Not quite. He has to stay behind in P11 for the time being. Chewy has entered the pits there. He's done 10 laps there on the soft compound tyres. So down the stint indeed, we saw Vintage do 6 laps, didn't we? as Vintage is being overtaken here by Martin, but chewing that into the pit lane is switching from the soft compound tyres, and he's going to go onto the medium compound tyres there in the Haas. So let's have a look and see how that's going to unfold in terms of the strategy for the Haas outfit. Serious Mushroom needs to keep up with that Alfa Romeo that's right in front of him as well. As we can see, if he can keep within that DRS range, can help himself get himself pulled along in this race as well, get himself back up in the points paying position. Siege is all over the back now of Gamer. You can really see with the help of DRS as well, he's going to be narrowing that gap even more before we get into sector 3, even before the second and third DRS zones around this lap. Here he comes now into sector 3, right behind the diffuser of that Aston Martin. He's less than 0.3 of a second behind the Aston Martin as well as we go towards the final turn. Let's have a look and see. Has there been any moves before the braking zone of the final turn, or is he going to wait and burn his time into the final turn we go? Nothing doing, I should say, between the two of them, and now around we go. And I think this is where Siege is going to go for it. He's got the extra battery power. Vintage has got past Martin further down the order. Here comes Siege for P5. Can he get himself past Gamer before the braking zone? I think Gamer's going to battle this one. Is he into turn 1? It's going to be close indeed between the two of them. Siege on the inside now for turn 2, but Gamer there swooping around the outside, keeps hold of the P5 for the time being. A great defensive move there indeed from Gamer there, holding on to that position for the time being as well. Really well defended, but fair play as well from Siege, not being over aggressive. There's Dan Murphy and Vessier switching places. Vessier once again over aggressive, the opposite way I was going to say there to Siege. Over aggressive indeed. They just diving back into the corner regardless of what was around him, unfortunately there, as into the turn 5 we go as well. Serious Mushroom and Ewok there slotting in behind at the moment with Dan Murphy there right all over the back now of the Red Bull here. Looking to get himself through as well. He's lost a lot of time. Vessio's back in the Alfa Romeo up here as well into the likes of Serious Mushroom and Ewok as well into the long left hander. No moves made, but it looked like Dan was going to be very eager to get a move past on this Red Bull very soon indeed as well. We'll stick with this battle here because it's the closest battle indeed on track. Into sector 2 we go, and it's going to be all over the back there of the Red Bull there with the DRS as well into sector 3 as we head down the next straight, which is technically a DRS straight but not really straight at all, as once again we can't see the next turn really because there's so many of these so-called straights as well. But here we go then, now into sector 3. Dan Murphy with the ERS and the DRS as well on the Red Bull. Can he make any moves before we get to the braking zone of the final turn? Dan Murphy already up into P9 as Vessier looks to fight back, but Dan Murphy's got the move made, and up into P9 for the time being is the Alfa Romeo driver. The Red Bull now slotting in behind for the time being as well. We have seen a fastest lap there for KD, I should say, getting himself further up in the order, up in the lead, I should say, as with a 4.3 second gap now up into P1 to Schneidem in P2. Ewok there gets himself past Mushroom there for P11 there. Both these drivers battling behind the likes of Dan Murphy and Vessier. These four are actually putting on the show at the moment. They're really pushing very hard indeed there to try and get themselves through the order and of course into the points paying positions for the likes of Ewok and Mushroom as well. Banish there in P4 and P14 or P13 I should say is 4 seconds back, but he's just biding his time there I think on those hardcore band tyres, of course, looking to go longer in this stint anyway than the likes of the medium runners around him. Vintage has got himself I think somebody got a penalty. Unfortunately, it wasn't Vintage. Well, it was good news it wasn't Vintage, but I'm not sure who it was for. It was bad news for whoever got the penalty, that is. It might have been Kaz, I think, but there we go then. Unfortunately, Kaz has picked up a penalty there. Gamer has already got his penalty there, so yeah, it must have been Kaz, unfortunately for Kaz, picking up a 3-second penalty there on this lap. Here comes Dan Murphy once again. Can he get himself past the Red Bull into sector 3? This is going to be the chance to go for the move. It's going to be tight indeed. Oh, there's contact between the two of them, and that is Dan Murphy having a spin there. We saw him go off. I think there was contact between Vessier there and the Alfa Romeo. Bannister's got himself through, as has Kaz as well. But yeah, we saw Vessier there clipping the Alfa Romeo there. I think it was going to be tight indeed, because trying to go for side by side through there is going to be almost impossible in my opinion anyway. But yeah, there we go. That is that. And unfortunately, Dan Murphy dropping down the order there. Vessier in P9. Ewok currently now in P10. Can he get himself past the Red Bull now for P9 there? Here we go then into turn 1. And once again, we've got the move done. I think there's Ewok. He's got himself up into P9. Very nicely done indeed. Here comes Vessier though. He's going to fight back though. But Ewok has got that covered off. He's got the move up into P9 now. Very comfortably done indeed as well. Good stuff from the Mercedes driver after recovering from the technical difficulties as well. like I was saying in the qualifying section as well. Now can he get himself ahead and away from the Red Bull as well? Can he get himself out of that 1 second window is the next question. We've seen Vessier, he's dropped down in position, but he's managed to fight his way back, sometimes a bit over aggressively, but he's managed to fight his way back nonetheless. And now Dan Murphy's, like I said, been another victim there, and he's now trying to catch up to Kaz there, who has done 13 laps on those medium compound tyres. Vintage does pick up a penalty, unfortunately for Vintage. I did curse him on the last lap, didn't I? I think it was, and what I did say, I thought Vintage got a penalty. It wasn't a Vintage at the time, but now he has picked up a penalty. Unfortunately, the commentator's curse has struck once again, and that is bad news indeed. Sorry about that, Vintage. As Vessier now is chasing after Ewok. Like I said, it's a return. Well, it's an Uno reverse card here, as Vessier picks up another penalty there. That's his second of the race, but that's his second penalty of the race. That is 6 seconds now added onto his race time at the end of the race. Here he comes now down towards the final turn. Any moves going to be made between a Red Bull now and a Mercedes as well. Into the final turn we go, as Vessier does take the position there. He's up into P9. Reflection has been passed by AC Immortal down the main straight, and up to P7 now goes the AlphaTauri into the final, onto the final straight we go, onto the main straight we go, sorry. Here comes Ewok back again towards turn 1. Is he going to be able to make a move? No, he just have to back off there. He didn't have the time or the space there. Dan Murphy got himself back up into P13, chasing back down the pack ahead of him, but he's got himself past Kaz now up into P13. Kaz slotting in behind Bannister, I think. I know Bannister's okay. He's got himself back up the way. We've got yellow. There was a bit of wing, I swear, coming off the car there. I think it was it Vessier's car? I'm not quite sure. It was Vessier's car. There's no left end plate there on the Red Bull. You can see there the Red Bull's lost the left end plate, and now Ewok is going to be very careful, very wary now of this Red Bull as well, because it's going to be a lot more difficult to turn through the corners. Vessier there just getting out of the way, I think, of the Mercedes driver. No, I think he's going to be slotting in behind. To be fair, to still try and go for the attack. As Kiki picks up another penalty, unfortunately for Kiki. It's not looking good on the penalties for him either as well. But Vessier there, we didn't see what happened, but I think he just went into the wall there trying to get the power down a bit too early, and that has cost him the position there to Ewok, and now the front wing is a bit damaged as well. Schneider there gets the fastest lap of the race. Kydell once again gets the fastest lap of the race, so the fastest lap's now coming in. Does that mean that they're going to be making pit stops very soon? We'll have to wait and see, as now the gap there between Vessier and Ewok is over 1 second through into sector 3. That Red Bull is not handling very well, of course, with that front wing damage, and that has cost him there to almost the 1 second window. And I'm going to sneeze, so bear with me 1 second. I'm going to have to pause. Sorry about that. Into the pits comes Ewok though in. He's decided to call it a day there on those medium compound tyres already. Vessier does carry on even with the damage though, so he was having a few handling issues there, we saw, especially through into sector 3 from sector 2. He was having a few issues. Ewok there in the pit lane. He's gone onto the hard compound tyres. Can those hards get to the end of the race? We'll have to find out. Well, that's going to be an interesting strategy call there from the Mercedes driver. He's going to come out behind Martin, I think. No, he might be ahead of Martin, actually, because, of course, the pit lane exits into turn 2 and not turn 1. He has got himself ahead of the Alfa Romeo of Martin there. 15 laps there on those tyres. Kaz is in the pits as well. So both of the Ferraris, unfortunately, at the back of the grid at the moment. But, of course, there is still plenty of racing still to come. And Kaz there onto the medium compound tyres once again. So I think he was on mediums as well. So he's done 15 laps on the mediums previously. So that would indicate that they're doing a 2-stop there, medium, maybe medium, hard. Potentially, we'll have to find out what the strategy is going to be. Is it going to be 20 laps on those hard compound tyres and then onto 2 sets of mediums? We'll find out. Cady there setting the pace at the moment. He's got a 4-second gap there, as has Schneider there to Kydell as well. He's got a 4.4-second gap to P3 Kydell, and then Ginner there is struggling along on those hard compound tyres. He's got quite a gap there between 2 drivers around him though, so he's not got anything to worry about just yet. Siege is putting the pressure on Gamer though, trying to get himself back up into P5. Siege still not been able to make any moves just yet on the Aston Martin for the time being, so staying in behind the likes of Gamer for the time being at the moment. Meltor there is trying to bring that gap down, but he's got a 6.5 second gap there to P6, so he's got a lot of pressure, a lot of time there to get himself on the board to try and pull himself up a few positions or so. Reflection there, staying comfortable there in P8. Vessier and Serious Mushroom there. Serious Mushroom has got DRS into turn 1, but he's over 1 second away, so I think he might have lost out of DRS now on the exit of this complex of corners. He's lost out now. He's in P10, but he has had a few issues there, of course, with Vessier and Serious Mushroom that we saw on the previous lap. So I think maybe the medium compound tyres are starting to die out at this stage of the race. we'll have to wait and see if this is maybe the right call there from Kaz to come in the pit lane and switch on to a new set of medium compound tyres, or potentially, like we saw from Ewok, switching on to a set of hard compound tyres. But nobody now on the soft compound tyres at all. We saw Chewy and Vintage start on the softs. Vintage only did 6 laps on his set of soft compound tyres, and I think it was Chewy that did 10 laps on the softs as well. So soft compound tyres don't seem to last too long around here. So maybe that is maybe that's going to be playing into the strategies there for the drivers around the order as well. Right then, the closest battle on track at the moment is between these two. It is for P5 at the moment. Siege and Gamer there into them onto the main straight. It would look like they're going in the pit lane there, but they just managed to avoid the pit entry. But now towards turn 1 we go into turn 1 in the braking zone. No moves being made there. Siege still slotting in behind for the time being. In the background, Serious Mushroom's got himself back in the DRS range there of Vessier. Vessier with that wing damage. Like I said, that left end plate is missing on the Red Bull completely. So you're going to be having a few struggles there, I think, into the heavy braking zone, especially into all the into any of the right hand turns. So Serious Mushroom there has got himself back in the DRS range now, thanks to that as well, and it's helping pull himself along there. Serious Mushroom there, getting himself back in the points pen positions. He has got a penalty to his name. We'll have to look at the penalty situations now. 3 seconds there for Gamer in P5, 6 for Vessier in P9, 3 for Mushroom in P10. Dan Murphy's got 3 in P12. Vintage P13, sorry, he's got 3 seconds as well, and Kiki in P17 has got 6. He's got himself past Chewy down the main straight up into P16. Yes, he has. He's got the move done. Chewy there slots in behind, and Kaz there in P18 currently has 3 seconds of penalties as well, unfortunately with Kaz, which is a big shame. Right then, let's have a look at this battle once again. Here comes Siege. He's a lot closer this time. Could this be the time for Siege to make the move? It looks like he's going around the outside towards the final turn. He's got the move done already as we head into the braking zone. This will of course give Gamer the respite down the main straight. Can he get himself back ahead of the Williams, I should say? Now down the main straight with the DRS assistant as well. Here he comes once back again. He's got the move already done as well before we get to the braking zone of turn 1. And unfortunately for Siege, the overtake was very nice indeed, but he's been re-overtaken there. Like I said, the DRS zones come thick and fast there in the final stages of the lap, and I think Siege, they're making the overtake at the wrong place at the wrong time. That gave Gamer in the Aston Martin the opportunity to get that move back for P5. He's still battling away those two, but unfortunately there's no change to the order for the time being, so we'll go back to that one very soon. Here comes Serious Mushroom once again down the main straight. Kaz picks up another penalty, unfortunately for Kaz. Not looking good indeed, although he's on fresh medium compound tyres and he has made a pit stop already compared to others around who haven't yet, so there's still time for him to get himself back in this race once the other drivers made their pit stops as well. We'll see a bit more of a change to the order as well when the stops do start to come in. We've done 19 laps of the 50 so far, and everyone seems to be looking a-okay for the time being. Now that I've said that, I'm sure that there will be a massive crash, but fingers crossed everyone can keep themselves on the grey stuff and off those walls as well, because it looks like the race has been developing very nicely indeed. Gamer there is under pressure at the moment, but he's now having to just fight off the likes of Siege in the Williams there. I think into sector 3 we go once again. Will Siege go for the same move? We have got a yellow flag there as sector 1, as I just said, as Kiki is round again. Unfortunately for the Ferrari driver, he's had an issue once again there into sector 1. Here we go then with Siege and Gamer there. This time Siege stays behind Gamer for the time being. Now onto the main straight. Here we go. The ERS is available for the Williams and the DRS as well down towards turn 1. Can he make that move? Can he catch up enough down the main straight to make that move as well? He's going to have to go to the inside now as Gamer has covered him off there on the outside, but still no moves made unfortunately there for Williams. For Siege as well, staying in P6 for the time being. It looked like he was much closer indeed on this lap, and now pushing along the Aston Martin as well. Down the order we saw, I think it was Kiki there. Kiki had an issue there, didn't he? I think, has he got any wing damage there? He has got that left end plate missing there on the Ferrari, unfortunately for Kiki, which is not good news there for the Ferrari driver. He's got himself out, can get himself back underway if he can get himself back to the pit lane, that is as well, but he needs to make sure he does it nice and safely. But so far so good for the Ferrari driver, but yeah, big shame there for Kiki as well. You saw didn't see what happened there. We had a spin as Chewy got himself past Martin. Oh, Martin sliding around on those medium compound tyres, those old medium compound tyres as well, as Chewy there gets himself ahead. He's got the DRS as well as Chewy to get himself a gap as well to the Alfa Romeo. And now 19 laps on those medium compound tyres. I think Martin is done and dusted there on those tyres as well. Of course, Chewy on much younger medium compound tyres as well. So yeah, I think Chewy gets himself through. Kiki is in the pit lane there. Unfortunately for Kiki, he's having a few issues there on his laps there with those spins, and now he's onto the soft compound tyres. KD is going to come through. Unfortunately, he's going to be lapped there by KD as he's getting that front wing changed, and I think Schneider's going to go through as well, as is Kydell. Well, I think he will get out ahead of Jinner, of course, with the pit lane exit being a bit different to the track itself. But yeah, unfortunate scenes for Kiki there, I should say. So yeah, hopefully he can get himself back in this race. And like I said, on the soft compound tyres, could potentially get himself an extra point for the fastest lap as well, if he can get a nice good lap in and get himself that point regardless of where he finishes. Of course, the fastest lap point is awarded to any driver who actually finishes the race. So it doesn't matter what position you're in, so long as you've got that fastest lap and you are still driving your car, then you will be awarded that point at the end of the race as well. Into the pits comes Reflection. He's done 20 laps there on the medium compound tyres. He's going for mediums once again, so that is looking like a medium soft situation for me, but we'll have to find out which strategy that's going to be. If that's going to be the right strategy, of course, indeed. Reflection coming out the pit lane now. He's going to be behind Dan Murphy and Bannister into turn 1. Reflection coming out the pit lane now. He's going to be right behind this battle here. Of course, the medium compound tyres will need to warm up, but they won't take too long to warm up as well. Ewok has got himself past Vintage there for turn 1, for P13 I should say. Jinner picks up a penalty there as well. Jinner has now got a 3-second penalty, but currently he's over 3 seconds ahead of Gamer, and that is not an issue there for the time being for the Alpine driver there. Ewok got himself up into P13 ahead of Vintage. Vintage needs to pit ahead for those on those medium compound tyres, but I think he might be going a bit longer there on this stint, of course, to get those mediums towards the end or towards the middle of this race, so he can go onto the hard compound tyres potentially to the end of the race as well. There we go. Reflection now on those fresh mediums has got himself in the DRS range of the two ahead now. Dan Murphy and Bannister once again battling away. Gamer has got himself being passed by Siege. This time Siege has got himself up into P5 once again, and now on the exit of the final turn, I think the battle of Gamer and Siege is going to resume still, actually, because here comes Gamer once again slotting into the slipstream, and now he needs to make a move quickly there, because he was supposed to go in the back of the Williams there. Into turn 1 we go, and the Aston Martin is back ahead. He's got the move back ahead of Siege. These two battling away non-stop. They've got a 3-second gap now, 2.6 second gap now to AC Immortal there in P7. He's really getting that gap brought down now. Is AC Immortal there. Here comes Reflection now on the inside of Bannister. He's got the move done up into P11 there is Reflection. Good stuff indeed from Reflection as well. And now can he get himself after Dan Murphy? We've got pit action there for Serious Rushman. He's into the pit lane is the Haas driver. Here comes Reflection once again now down the main straight. Bannister going to the inside, and now deep on the brakes once again. The medium compound tyres, of course, with such a fresher tyres as well. You can brake so much later as well compared to Bannister on the hard compound tyres. 21 laps there on the hard compound tyres as well. Serious Rushman's in the pit lane. He's on the soft compound tyres. That's a very odd call there from my point of view, as Kaz and Martin have switched places. Martin is in the pit lane. He's coming in to cut off those medium compound tyres as well now. So that's him done and dusted on the medium compound tyres for the time being. Serious Rushman switching onto the hard compound tyres as Dan Murphy picks up a penalty. He's got himself ahead of Bannister now, but now Reflection is after the diffuser there of that Alfa Romeo, and let's have a look and see if there's going to be any moves made on this occasion there. And like I said, Serious Rushman switching to the soft compound tyres. We've got more pit activity. Martin onto the medium compound tyres, onto the hard compound tyres, as Kydell gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I think that's a glitch. That will be reviewed after the race there, Kydell, so if we can get that footage in, we'll get that reviewed as Kiki does set the fastest lap of the race. Good stuff indeed. Jinner there is carrying on. Schneiderman is in the pit lane for the hard compound tyres. We've got more pit activity all over the place. I can't see what's going on here. Kydell, like I said, I think he has served that 5-second penalty in the pit lane as well. So that is good news in a way, because he will be able to get that 5 second just removed instantly at the end of the race with his race footage and race director. But Reflection there up into P9 there ahead of Dan Murphy now on the medium compound tyres. He's got himself up into P9, and Vessier now is the next target. Can he get himself ahead of the Red Bull driver, who's still going there with that wing damage as well? He's hold on to that P8 position. He's lost out a lot of time there to the drivers ahead of him, but here comes Dan Murphy again. Is he going to get that move back? No, not quite. Reflection there stays ahead in P9 for the time being. But we saw Vessier pick up the wing damage there quite a few laps ago now. But he struggled on with that wing damage, and it's still looking a-okay there for the Rebel driver. But he's now going to have reflection to deal with as well on those fresh medium compound tyres. And reflection doesn't want to be hanging around too long there, does he? On these fresh tyres, he wants to get the most out of them as he can. And now heading towards the long right-hander, or long left-hander, I should say, of turn 5. Oh, he's squeezed into the corner there. That was a bit dangerous there from the Rebel driver, and that was very treacherous indeed. It looked like almost it could have been a very race ending almost for reflection there. Haley's in the pit lane as well from the lead of the race. Let's see what's going to happen here. I think he's going to be losing the lead there to Jinner there. Jinner's going to carry on at this stage of the race. Good stuff indeed. Let's have a look at this battle once again. It's 1.5 tenths of a second. Now we go down towards sector 3, but there's no move being made just yet for reflection. I think he's having to bide his time because he doesn't want to get himself too involved in any incidents there. Schneidem and Immortal there switching places. Of course, Immortal there on the older tyres now, and here comes reflection once again there with the DRS assistance. Can he get himself past the Red Bull this time into the final turn? And there's contact once again. I'm not quite sure what is going on between these two here, but reflection gets himself up into P8, and now I'm not quite sure what the situation is with the DRS. He's not got DRS, unfortunately. He has reflection. He's now got Vessier coming back at him with the ERS and DRS as well. Into turn 1 we go. We're going to be side by side. I think this is going to be very interesting indeed, as we've seen Vessier there really go aggressive into turn 1 and 2 before. He's having to abide his time there on this one, unfortunately, for Vessier with that wing damage there. He doesn't have the traction on the corner exits, and that has cost him the position there. Reflection there getting through on the fresh medium compound tyres. There was no contest in the end there. Bannister is in the pit lane there for the medium compound tyres. Chewy is coming through to P14. I think Bannister will get out ahead of the Ferrari of Kaz coming through. It depends when he gets the power down, because he's looking a bit slow there coming out the pit lane, and he has got out just ahead, I think, of Kaz for the time being. But of course on fresher tyres, Dan Murphy and Vessier switching places as well as we go now into the long left-hander. Dan Murphy's got the move done and dusted already. I think he's got the move done and dusted. Yeah, he has done. Up into P9 goes the Alfa Romeo there, and the Red Bull having to slot in behind. Of course now the Red Bull's going to have the DRS as well, which we've seen earlier has really helped Vessier stay in those high positions there, in the points paying positions there, even with that wing damage. Vessier and Siege, not Siege, Immortal and Siege, sorry, switching places. Here comes Schneidem as well, but then into P4 goes Immortal there, of course not pit yet, and neither has Siege as well, and Schneidem they're getting held up behind at the moment, as of course we've seen Kydell there. Kydell's actually further back because he served his penalty, of course, at the pit stop, which of course will be removed and reviewed after the race. But there we go then, into the final turn we go. Here comes Vessier once again on the back of the Alfa Romeo. He's not letting Dan have a breathing space, is he? Now as we go down towards the main straight, DRS available as Vessier is up into P9 once again. And now down towards turn 1, Dan Murphy slots in behind, and I think Vessier there is giving him a bit. He's giving him a race to remember, this one, isn't it, for sure? As he's really being put under pressure. I think, like I said, even with that wing damage, the DRS is really helping the Red Bull get himself back in the points paying position, or keep himself in the points paying position. So here comes Schneidem. Oh, what's happened to Siege? Siege is going slowly here. She's had an issue there. I think he's dropped down the order there. He's dropped down behind Schneidem there. Not quite sure what's happened. Hopefully Siege is okay. Has he got a puncture even, maybe? I think there might be an issue there. He's dropping down the order. I'm not quite sure what's happening to Siege there. He's having an issue. He's not got any wing damage, but he's lost out of DRS there to Schneidem. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Fingers crossed he's okay. He has got the DRS now down the main straight, so I'm not quite sure what's happening there at all. As as Kiki and Martin battling away there into turn 1. Kiki up into P17, Gamer up into P2 as Jinner makes his pit stop. We are at the halfway stage, or just over the halfway stage of the race already, so it's gone pretty quickly indeed so far. Jinner onto the medium compound tyres. Siege as well in the pit lane, so he was coming in the pit lane anyway. I'm not quite sure if there's damage there to the Williams car. No wing change, onto the medium compound tyres he goes, so he's back underway. But unfortunately, I'm not quite sure what the reason there was for the slow moving Williams there was in sector 3. But he's managed to get himself sorted, hopefully, and onto a fresh set of medium compound tyres now. Can get himself set on the mediums and get himself going as well. Dan Murphy and Vessier once again switching places. Down the main straight we go, and into turn 1 this time. And it looks like the Alfa Romeo is ahead as we go into the braking zone, and up into P9 goes Dan Murphy. Vessier slotting in behind in P10. And And there we go then. Vessier now having to slot in behind. I think this is the opportunity now for Dan Murphy. Can he get himself ahead and away from the Red Bull? He's made the move in the right part of the lap, from my opinion, to try and get himself ahead. Of course, with that wing damage, Vessier will be clinging on with the trying to get keeping that 1 second window. And it looks like Dan has got the pace now to get himself away and ahead there of that 1 second window there. He's outside of DRS range now as Vessier, and I think that might be a bit of a reprieve there for Dan. After battling for so long, we got a yellow flag as Chewy is off the circuit. This is where I'm saying the concentration is key. Is a safety car? Is it a safety car? It's a VSC, I think. I can't see a safety car coming out of the pit lane just yet. Yes, I'm not quite sure where Chewy's gone. He's gone in sector 1, not turns 1, 2 or 3. But he's had an issue there at turn 5. I think we saw Bannister have a bit of an issue there as well. Into the pits comes Gamer, AC Immortal and Schneiden. Schneiden back in the pit lane. That is an interesting call there from Schneiden. Kaido carries on up into P2. There goes the McLaren. It is not a safety car. It is only a VSC, I believe. So hopefully everyone can adhere to the deltas and not get any drive-through penalties, etc. Because of course that is very possible indeed under the VSC. Gamer comes back out in P4, Immortal in P5. Schneiden in P6 there after making another stop. Siege there comes back out behind Schneiden in P7 for the time being. Reflection there is staying out as well. No more moves in the back of the order. We've got Dan Murphy in the pit lane. In comes Vessier as well. He's decided to destroy the bollard there as well. That's going to probably cause him more wing damage even. So that was going to be an interesting call there. Ewok is going to carry on there. He's going to get back into the points paying positions as well, which is good news for him. Into the pits comes Vintage 2. Serious Mushroom calling it a day on the soft compound tyres as well. Bannister, I think, will stay out there on fresher medium compound tyres. DRS is re-enabled there as the drivers in the pit lane now are going to be losing a bit more time there to their rivals now. Down the pit lane we go. Bannister is going to carry on, but I think he's going to come out ahead. No, he's going to come out ahead of Kaz and Vintage there and Serious Mushroom there, but they have gained a little bit of time, I would say, because of course the VSC did help them gain some time in the pit lane compared to their rivals on track. Yeah, unfortunate there for Chewy there. Chewy losing concentration there. He's out of the race. It was looking good indeed for Chewy there in qualifying, wasn't it? And now we've seen that with the lack of concentration through this sector here, that is where it cost you the time, and that is where it cost him the race as well. He's out of the race. Is Chewy the first retirement of this one in Saudi Arabia, which is a big shame indeed. Chewy there looking good indeed in this race, but unfortunately now the first retirement. 28 laps have been completed, with the first retirement there being Chewy in the Haas. But hopefully we can carry on with the 17 we've got there to get to the end of the race there. Fingers crossed they've got the pace to do so. KD there has of course pitted for the hard compound tyres 4 laps ago. He didn't help him with that VSC in terms of the pit stop strategy, but he's now on the fresher hard compound tyres. We can go to the end. Kaido is also the same there on the hard compound tyres. He's going to be only 3 seconds, 3.8 seconds ahead of Ginolo on fresh mediums, as is Gamer, as is Immortal, as is Schneiden as well. Siege in P7 on 2 lap old hard medium compound tyres, so there's not too much of an issue there for him either. The Ewok is in the pit lane though. He's a bit late there for the VSC. He's got a wing change coming for the Mercedes driver. That's a big shame there indeed, and that's going to relinquish the position there to Dan Murphy and Vessier that he did have or did gain under that VSC as well. Bannister's coming through as well. Reflection picks up a penalty in P8 there. Bannister coming through. Kaz is coming through as well. Ewok has got himself back out of the pit lane, but he's going to be behind Serious Mushroom, I believe. No, he might be ahead of Serious Mushroom, but behind Vintage there, unfortunately, there for the Mercedes driver. A big shame there indeed. He was looking good to get some good points in this race, and potentially now on the fresh medium compound tyres can get some good points in this race still as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But we'll get himself sorted back underway in this race and get himself clear his head now of that incident and keep going in this one. We've got 20 laps or 22 laps to go. Now we've crossed the line to start lap 29. So we are well over the halfway point for the time being. Kydell sets the fastest lap of the race there. Shinner sets the fastest lap of the race after that. I think we're going to have a few fastest laps of the race now as well. Here comes a Gamer as well. No, not for him, not for Immortal either. Here comes Immortal though on Gamer. Can he make the move into turn 1? Gamer defends the inside. He keeps the position there for the time being. The Aston Martin driver and the AlphaTauri of AC Immortal has to slot in behind for the time being. We've got a spinner there of Schneiden. Schneiden's gone around and Siege there gets himself out into P6. Schneiden having an issue there at the exit of turn 2, and that is unfortunate there for the Red Bull driver. He's lost out to Siege. He's not lost out to anybody else, he's just lost time unfortunately, but hopefully he can get himself back underway and cool down those tyres now after that spin as well, and get himself back underway, and he can still get some good points there for himself and the Red Bull team. But a big shame indeed there for Schneiden there, who's had a bit of a spin unfortunately in that in the first few corners of the lap here. But nonetheless, he's got himself back underway, which is good news, and there's no damage there for the Red Bull driver either. He can carry on at this point in time. Yellow flags for somebody. Jinner's off the circuit. Is Jinner having an issue there? He's off the circuit as well. Siege has got himself through now. Jinner there having the issue there, and that has cost him positions there to AC Immortal. It's cost him positions to Gamer Immortal Siege as well. And we've just seen two incidents there in the space of a few corners. And I think this is where we can see the concentration. The concentration is really coming down for these drivers now. As Kiki's back in the pit lane after 8 laps on the soft compound tyres. We can see the concentration starting to lapse. They were 30 laps in. We've done 3/5 of the race distance, yeah, like I said, the concentration is key around here, especially with the fast pace of the lap, and I think that is where we're seeing a few mistakes. There was Siege, getting past Gamer there into turn 1 we go. It's deep on the brakes. Immortal's got the inside there for turn 2, and he's got the move done up into P3. There is Immortal there. Good stuff indeed, a great move from the championship leader as well. Gamer there can stick with him though, and that will pull himself along there towards Kaidel and towards his teammate as well of KD as well. But Siege there getting himself 2 places there in that lap after keeping it calm and consistent, and he's got himself into P5 eventually after that long battle with Gamer as well for P5, but he's got himself up into P5 now nonetheless. Jinner there having recovered from that spin as well, and Schneider on the exit of turn 2 on the last lap there, both getting themselves back underway. But like I said, there's still plenty of laps to go in this one, so we'll have to wait and see how it's going to finish. But I would imagine now that Schneider and Jinner got themselves back on the way, they can try and get themselves after the points runners further ahead of them and try and get themselves further up the points order as well. Vintage gets himself past Kaz up into P12. There's Vintage. Good stuff indeed from the Williams driver, and he's not too far away from the points pay positions at the moment as well, with the penalty situations as well. Although he has got penalties himself, he could potentially leapfrog a couple of people here and there should we get to the race end and the gaps become a bit closer as well. We'll find out there from Vintage, but he's doing a good job so far. And now into P14 we've got Ewok. They're always having a few connection issues as well, but like we said, hopefully that is not race ending and he can keep himself in this race for the time being. Serious Mushroom slotting himself into P15, and we've got Immortal there setting the fastest lap of the race so far with a 31.285 currently in P3. He's now got a 6-second gap there to Kaidel to try and that gap down. Kiki picks up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane there, unfortunately. Kiki, as he's retired in the pit lane, that is a bit quick there for Kiki, so that is a big shame there. He's called it a day in the pits there. He's onto the hard compound tyres, but it's a bit of a shame that he's not going to be able to complete the rest of this race. He is done and dusted in this one. Martin is still going in this one, which is good news. Ewok is now, there's a spin there for Vintage. Oh, he's almost collected Ewok as well. That is close indeed. Kaz is off the circuit as well. Ewok has Ewok has got through. Vintage has got through as well. Serious Mushroom's got past Kaz. I'm not quite sure if Kaz was the cause of that, but it looked like it was Vintage that's lost the car on his own there into Sector 3. He's lost the DRS there to Ewok as well. So Ewok has now flown through and got up into P12 there. Very nicely done indeed. You've got steering there. Serious Mushroom saying he's not got any steering, but it looks like he's steering in my screen. There we go. Yeah, it seems like that car is seems to be all right for the moment. Mushroom, I'll just see what you can do. Maybe let Kaz through and then try and fix the issue. Yeah, at the moment it seems a-okay for me on board. There we go. Like I said, if you've got more problems, then just let me know. At the moment it seems a-okay for the time being. As now we've got, let's have a look and see, can Immortal bring that gap down? He's already got down to 4.5 seconds at the lead, or at the top here, into P3. He was 6 seconds on the last lap. Now he's onto lap 32, and we're only on 4.5 seconds now. It is coming down pretty quickly, that gap as well indeed. Here comes Serious Mushroom as well. I'll go back to Serious Mushroom because I'm not quite sure what he means by he's not got any steering. He seems to be going fine through here, and like I said, if you lost steering through this circuit, it is a major problem indeed, isn't it? So he seems to be okay for the time being, I'm not quite sure what the issue is there, but it seems to be sorted now, thankfully, for the Haas driver. He can get himself after Vintage as well, and can try and get that position back as well after that spin there from Vintage actually caused the issue there. I think it was between Serious Mushroom and Kaz as well, and Ewok as well. Ewok capitalised. Unfortunately for Serious Mushroom and Kaz, they did not come off as well as Ewok did, nonetheless they are still going in this race, which is good news indeed. Right then, it seems like we've got a bit of a lull here in the race now. KD coming round into sector 3 there to finish off lap 32. Mushroom's got himself past Vintage there up into P13, so it looks like his issues have been sorted, thankfully, at the moment anyway. So Serious Mushroom now up into P13. Can he get himself ahead of Vintage now? He's set his sights on getting up to Ewok as well and getting himself back in the front position. Potentially he could. He is not too far away. Let's have a look, and hopefully that issue has been resolved now. It looks like it's okay there for the Hash driver as well. Now set the sights on getting himself up the order. Kaz picks up a penalty there. We've got yellow flags. Yellow flags for Ewok. Ewok's had an issue there at the exit of the chicane, and that is not good news there. He's just tried to spin the car around, and that has not helped either. Those tyres are going to be very, very hot indeed, and he has got himself back underway, which is good news at least, but unfortunate there for the Mercedes driver. Just need to take it easy now, because those tyres, like I said, are overheating, and that is not what you want to do. You don't want to go through a high-speed corner with overheated tyres, because it will literally just send you around in a spin, and that is that's what you need to rectify. As we have got another spin there for the Mercedes driver as KD comes through to lap the Mercedes car as well. Yeah, unfortunate scenes there for Ewok. He was, like I said, those tyres have been melted, and he hasn't cooled them down there before he got himself really get going again. You have to cool them down back to the operating temperature. I know it's very frustrating because you have to sit there for a bit longer and wait for those tyres to cool down. But unfortunately, around this circuit, as again we're going to see another spin here as predicted. Like I said, it is just because of the nature of the circuit. Those tyres are way too hot, and after a few more spins as well, that's not going to help those tyres. The tyre situation there for the Mercedes driver. Hopefully he can get a set of soft compound tyres on and potentially get a fastest lap point and go to the end of the race. Nonetheless, he will be having to make a pit stop, I think, very soon, because those medium compound tyres, even though they're only 4 laps old, I think have been overheated too much there by the Mercedes driver, and that is in and done and dusted there on those tyres as well. You can see struggling even to get around the final turn is the Mercedes car, so he's having to come into the pits. Kaz has had an issue, and I think that might be a safety car indeed. Yes, it is. Safety car has been called out there on lap 34 of 50. Interesting strategy call indeed. A drive-through penalty for Jinner, the speeding out of the safety car. We didn't quite see what happened there with where Kaz was indeed on the track, but he is somewhere around here. It looks like he is around this turn here. He is somewhere off the circuit there. We can't quite see. It's been cleared up already. But it is a safety car. Safety car has been called out, so we're going to have to bunch up the pack, and that would be good news for some as well, and not good news for others, I suppose. But hopefully, like I said, where is Ewok and where is he in relation to the race leaders? He is a bit too far away. Potentially, if he stays out and KD and the rest ahead of him do pit, then he could get himself back on the lead lap as well. We'll have to wait and see. But he needs to push on now and try and get himself ahead of KD as well if he can. Because of course I think that maybe we might see some pit stop action there coming through from the driver's ramp. But now we have got some pit lane action as Dan Murphy and Vessier are pitting as well onto the medium compound tyres. They go. Serious Mushroom is staying out, as is Vintage as well. But like I said, I think we might see some stops there from the race leaders. Let's have a look and see if KD's going to come in the pit lane now. He has got a 13-second gap there to his rivals. Let's have a look and see what he's going to do. He is in the pit lane now. So the Aston Martin from the lead of the race has made his stop. Let's see what he's going to go on to. We've got a few more drivers in the garages as well. Ewok is carrying on as well, I think, so that's good news. KD there coming through now. He's onto the medium compound tyres as well, so he's onto the mediums. Nobody's going for the soft compound tyres, I don't think. Doesn't look like it anyway. Kaido's in the pits, as is Immortal. Gamer is following him in as well. KD is out of the pit lane already, I think, so he's not going to be having any issues there. Hopefully Gamer for getting blocked by his teammate. There we go, onto the servicing the Aston Martin car very quickly indeed. Kaido is coming back out. He's somehow behind the I'm not quite sure how that happened. Ewok picks up a 3-second penalty there for speeding, not speeding, for corner cutting, unfortunately. But here comes Siege. Can Siege get ahead of anybody here into turn 1 we go? He's not going to be ahead of Kaido. That is him staying in P6 for the time being. Reflection onto the soft compound tyres. So Reflection thinks the softs can make it. So potentially we'll see that that strategy unfold for the Reflection, the McLaren, I should say. But there we go. An interesting call there from the McLaren driver, and Ewok as well has got onto the soft compound tyres as well. So interesting calls there from those drivers. I think that is all of the strategies unfolded as everyone's going past the pit lane now. So that is that's the strategies unfolded there. We're just waiting for them all to catch up to the safety car queue. The driver at the back of the queue at the moment is Vintage there, who is on 8-lap-old mediums as well. Serious Mushrooms on the same. So they think that they can get to the end of the race there comfortably on those medium compound tyres. So good enough indeed. Good stuff indeed, I should say. But like I said, we're just waiting now for the safety car, well, for the drivers there to catch up to the safety car queue, and then we can get ourselves back underway. I think we'll be restarting the race on the next lap at the end of potentially lap 36. We'll have to wait and see. So we'll have 15 laps of green flag running to the end of the race from here as well. So we'll have to wait and see how that's going to unfold, of course. But like I said, lots of penalties being racked up as well. That will be added on to their race time at the end of the race. That will. So there's still plenty of laps to go in this one. There's still 15 laps to go, and of course the penalty situation to be reflected. I keep seeing reflection on the time board there, but keep on the time board being reflected in this race as well. So we'll have to wait and see how the penalties are going to be reflected and how the penalties are going to affect the race as well towards the end. As Siege and Jinner's in the pit lane. Jinner's coming in the pits. Has called it a day there on those medium compound tyres already. Potentially, can he go on the soft compound tyres? Can he get ahead of Reflection as well? That would be a great call indeed. He's only lost one place there to Siege. If he does make this call, here comes Reflection now. And Jinner is trundling down the pit lane already. You can't see the McLaren in the background just yet. And here is the pit lane exit. So he has got himself out of the exit now. And I think he's going to stay ahead of the McLaren of Reflection there. Great strategy call there indeed for Jinner, I should say. But good stuff from the Alpine there. And Otmar thinking very quickly there in the pit lane on the pit box to get that sorted as well. Good stuff. And now we can get ourselves back underway there. Jinner there onto the fresh soft compound tyres. The freshest tyres there on the grid currently. In the race currently, I should say. Reflection there on 2-lap-old soft compound tyres, and Ewok on 1-lap-old soft compound tyres as well. But I think we're catching up to the safety car queue now. We're already getting ourselves ready to get going in this one. So hopefully we'll be back underway for some racing at the end of lap 36. We'll have, like I said, we'll have 14 laps to go, 37 to 50, and then that'll be it for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. But it's been a pretty epic race so far. Let's have a look and see how we're going to finish in the latter part of this race now. We're not within the latter half, we're in the latter quarter, I think. I don't know what a quarter of 50 is, to be honest. But there we go. Kaz has left the session now. Unfortunately, Kaz was the reason the safety car came out. It was a bit of an unfortunate incident there for the Ferrari driver. Both Ferrari drivers out of the race, and as is Chewy as well in P18. But let's have a look, and hopefully the 15 drivers that we've got remaining can get to the end of this race in style. But here we go, safety car is in this lap, so now KD becomes the de facto safety car. He has to wait for the actual safety car to get himself back in the pit lane and get himself further enough away so that he's not going to be in any danger of speeding F1 cars flying past him at breakneck speed. Right then, it is dependent now on KD when he wants to drop the hammer, when he's going to go, and we've got the safety car back in the pit lane now, so he is ready to go whenever he decides now. Let's see what he can do. Is he going to go early or is he going to go late? Now he's got Schneider right behind him, and away we go. Then I think he's already gone. As now down towards the start-finish straight we go. As Immortals there timed it perfectly. He's got the move on the Schneider already up into P2. Here comes Gamer as well into turn 1. We've got the safety car parking up there into the pit lane, I should say. Schneider was lost out to Gamer as well. Gamer's got himself through. Gamer and Immortals switching places as well. Immortals lost places there. Up to P2 goes Gamer, back to where he started in this race. As a yellow flag, I'm not quite sure who had the issue. It might have been Immortal himself, but he's got himself back up underway nonetheless. Schneider there losing 2 places there on that restart to fresh and medium compound tyres. 10 laps old tyres is for Schneider there, has not been a rival there for the softer or for the fresher medium compound tyres around him. They're 2-lap-old tyres compared to 10-lap-old, and I think there's still a bit more of a performance gain there from the fresher medium compound tyres than you'd think there on those 10-lap-old mediums. But nonetheless, he's dropped down to P4. Can he get himself back up the order? He was in P2. He's still got the penalty there for Gamer there to bring himself back into this one, I should say. But there we go. God, it's getting a bit feisty on this restart, isn't it? Gamer's already lost the DRS range there to his teammate of KD. Here comes Immortal back up into P3. He stays up in P3 for the time being. He's into Sector 3 now as well, as I should say, and now trying to get himself back up into P2 as we go down towards the final turn of this lap there. Lap 37 has been completed. Here comes Jinner on the soft compound tyres. He's got himself past Siege already. Here comes Immortal there on the outside of the final turn 27 there into turn 27. There's contact between the two of them. And Gamer has had an issue there. Oh, not quite sure what's happened. The banister as well there. No, it's Jinner. Jinner's off the circuit there as well. Unfortunate scenes for the Jinner there as well. He's dropping down the order after having contact, I think, with the AlphaTauri, I think it was. Gamer's dropped down the order. Immortal's been able to carry on. I think he's been able to carry on, hasn't he? Yes, he has. Up into P5 there, or down into P5. Bannister's got himself up into P8 there, ahead of Dan Murphy for the time being. Vintage Jinner is in the pits as well, sorry. Called it a day, I think, on those. No, he's serving a drive-through penalty, I think. No, he has a drive-through penalty there, as Jinner, unfortunately, for the Alpine driver. He's served that now, and he's back out underway. Not quite sure where he picked that up, but maybe it was that under the safety car there. As Schneider and Schneider and Kydell switching places there. Up into P2 there goes Kydell. And back up into P2 for the McLaren. Ewok has left the session there. That is his technical difficulties, unfortunately, there. I'm not quite sure why he has left the session there. Hopefully he can get himself back underway. Oh, he has caused another safety car, and another safety car is out there. So that is, of course, by Ewok's car there, just in the wall. And I'm not quite sure what's going on there because it seems to be jammed in the wall as well there. So Ewok there has been disqualified from the session there for parking in a dangerous location. And that is his race done and dusted after that disconnection there. He's dropped to the back of the field, or out of the field, I should say, really, with that whatever happened there. And whatever he's done as well has brought out a safety car in this one as well. So big shame indeed for Ewok as well. He was, like I said, he was having the issues in qualifying, and now he's had the issue in the race as Schneider still takes the opportunity to stay out. Siege up into P4 now. Reflection is in the pit lane. He's called it a day on those soft compound tyres already, so potentially realised that the softs might not get to the end of the race from here. Gamer is in the pits as well. I don't know if we'll see anybody else coming in the pit lane as well. We'll find out as Jinner is going very slowly around the final corner. Reflection onto new soft compound tyres. Let's have a look and see what Gamer's going to go on to. Gamer's got a wing change there for the Aston Martin team. That is not good news as Jinner is also in the pit lane as well. So yeah, there's still some activity still to come there in this race. And like I said, I think we saw a few people there losing concentration there on the restart, the safety car, and that has caused the few issues that we've had. Ewok there was sliding around there, it looked like into in Sector 1, and that has cost him his place in the race even, with the disqualification there. Unfortunately, he lagged out at the wrong time because he couldn't take control of his car to stop it from just driving into the wall rather than correcting itself, which is a bit of a shame. But nonetheless, he got himself he's not got himself out of this race. He is out of the race by his own internet's fault, unfortunately. But hopefully next week he can get that result, or not next week, because of course we've got a break week next week. We've got what circuit we've got coming up next. Let's find out, shall we? Let's have a look. Whilst we've got this lovely break, we can have a look at the calendar. So after Saudi Arabia, we've actually got Australia next, which is in 2 weeks' time there, of course, again following the official F1 racing. So of course the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is this weekend coming up, so this is your preview, and if there's been one hell of a preview as well. So like I said, you'd have to say this is going to be much more entertaining than the actual Grand Prix will be, probably. So yeah, like I said, putting on a good show there is the 100% League putting on a good show there for you tonight as well. So let's have a look and see what's going to happen next. But yeah, I think the unfortunate incident there between Gamer and Immortal there caused a few issues there. The likes of Jinner there was caught up in it as well. I think he just made a bit of contact there with the AlphaTauri there, who was sort of stricken there at the exit of this turn here, the final corner. But I'm not quite sure who was at fault, to be honest, because it looked like Gamer got spun into Immortal, but that would only mean that Gamer had come across the front wing of the AlphaTauri as well. So unfortunate scenes there for both drivers there. Gamer now onto the soft compound tyres, and they're looking to finish the race as fast as possible. Jinner has caught up to the queue as well now, which is good news. So like I said, we've got a 2-week break after this race, so then we'll be back in 2 weeks' time there at Australia. And then we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've only got 7 races left after that one, so not too bad indeed. But there we go. There we've got, like I said, a few more drivers there to get ourselves around this one more lap. I think we're going to start on lap 41, which will mean we've got that will mean that we've got 10 laps to go. Vintage is saying he's got hallucinations following Serious Mushroom, so that is interesting stuff indeed as well. I'm not quite sure what that means, but fingers crossed that they aren't too bad, that you can get to the end of this race. And I'm not quite sure what his Serious Mushroom's still struggling with his theory apparently, so but it seems like he's A-OK for the time being. Like I said, if it is going to be that much of an issue, then I think it might be just wise just to pull out of the way of the other drivers so you don't cause any issues with other drivers behind you. But nonetheless, if you want to carry on racing at the moment and just stick it out till the end of the race, I would do so as well, because you're currently at P9, so that is not too bad. And I think we'll be back underway for green flag running at the end of, well, at the end of this sector, actually sector 1, sector 2 I should say, as KD there comes into sector 3 now, and the safety car is not going to go away. It hasn't gone away just yet. Let's have a look and see if it's going to go away now. Fingers crossed it will, as yes, it is in this lap there. So there we go. We're going to have 41 to 50 of number of laps there of racing there. So 10 laps of racing to come at the restart of this race. KD once again restarting this race after restarting on, I think it was only a few laps ago, wasn't it, the first safety car. KD is sorry, the safety car now peeling away there into the pit lane, and KD will once again restart this race very soon. Right then, around the final turn we go. Kaidel's going to try and stick with him this time, and now we're going early this time as well. KD's put his foot down. Here comes Kaidel's one. He's not been caught out there by that restart from the Aston Martin driver, and now maybe get a nice toe down towards turn 1. No moves being made just yet, but here we go then. Got Snyderman has got himself up into P3 now, of course on those older medium compound tyres though. Here comes Siege as well, 18 Water in P5. Vessier's got himself up into P6 as well, with a good drive. Bannister up into P7 as well on those medium compound tyres. They're very old indeed though. Reflection getting past Vintage there up into P10, and here comes Gamer as well down round the outside there of Vintage. He's got the move done there on the freshest soft compound tyres up into, as Martin's retired as well now, and that is another retirement there for this race out in P14. Vintage is dropping down the order. He's lost out to Virginia as well. Virginia on the soft compound tyres is flying through Martin there. We didn't see what happened to Martin, but he's lost out, and he was out of the order anyway. He was out of sync anyway because of being lapped there in this race. But fingers crossed that's not another safety car. But there we go. Then we've got ourselves only 13 runners left of the 18. It's a race of attrition, like I said at the beginning of this one as well. Like, it's very easy to lose concentration and visit the wall. And I think that is what's happened to a few of the drivers around here. Serious Mushroom being overtaken there by Reflection. Once again, Serious Mushroom having an issue there, trying to get himself sorted, but he has got himself back underway, gaming out all over the back of him as well. Oh, what has happened there? What is going on there between those two drivers there? That was a really weird racing indeed. Immortal and Siege battling away into the final turn. Siege keeps hold of that P4 for the time being. Here comes Immortal once again though, down the main straight with the ERS assistance. He's got himself through. Here comes Vessier as well. Vessier trying to slot himself through as well, but no moves being made just yet. Dan Murphy's got himself past Bannister on those old medium compound tyres. I think Bannister's struggling there at this stage of the race. He's got 18 lap old medium compound tyres. Generally back in the pit lane, as is Serious Mushroom as well. Wing change there for Jinner. And Serious Mushroom, I think, coming in the pit lane for a wing change as well. Onto the soft compound tyres I would go, and go for that fastest lap point at this stage of the race as well on those softs. But yeah, there's no wing change there for Serious Mushroom. He just decided to choose to pit for the soft compound tyres. So that is interesting indeed. Here comes Reflection again on Bannister now as Serious Mushroom. Oh, he's retired. What? I don't understand what's going on there from Serious Mushroom. That he's retired after he's come out of the pit lane, which is very confusing indeed. Now down 12 runners, and that is just yeah, even more just weirdness from the drivers, unfortunately there. But there we go. Vessier's getting himself past Siege. Siege is having a battle here indeed with the Red Bull driver, and he's up into P5 now as Vessier, pushing through onto sector 3 now as well as we go on to the end of lap 42. And that is it done and dusted there for Serious Mushroom as well. He's out of this race and he has decided to pit and quit. So that is not good news there for Serious Mushroom. Then we've got Reflection there on the soft compound tires. Can he get himself further up the order? He's got Katie's got the fastest lap of the race so far, but I think we might see some soft runners there take that lap away very, very soon. Indeed, DRS has been enabled. Here comes Reflection now down the main straight, getting past Dan Murphy there on the soft compound tires. Can he make the move into turn 1? He's got the move done into turn 1. Here comes Gamer as well, up into P9. Banners are dropping down to P10. I think he's got quite a nice gap there to Vintage at the moment, though. Jenner is too far back as well. He has to go for fastest lap there as Jenner to get himself some points in this one. As Vessier picks up another penalty, that is not good news for Vessier. That is 9 second penalties there for Vessier. That is going to cost him a lot of places at this stage of the race after the safety car has only just gone in as well. So he needs to get himself, he needs to put his foot down now, does Vessier, to try and get himself further away from the likes of Siege. And Reflection, of course, is going to be bringing that gap down as well on those soft compound tyres. They're going to be very speedy at this stage of the race, as will Gamer as well. And Dan Murphy on 9-lap-old mediums is no slouch either. So DRS now being available for these drivers as well. Can they get themselves pulled along to get themselves further towards the battle of the Siege and the Vessier? Mortal has got himself right within the sights of a podium here with Schneidem all over that front wing now, almost as well. DRS available, of course, on this lap as we're entering the end of lap 43. Here we go then into the final turn. No moves being made there. Here comes Siege. No moves being made for him either. Around the final turn we go. Here comes Immortal this time. The red light flashing there on the Red Bull, and I think this might be it for Vessier there to for Schneider, sorry, to hold on to that P3 as AC Immortal gets up into P3. Very nicely done indeed. Here comes Siege now down the back straight, down the main straight, I should say. No moves being made for him. Here comes Reflection and Gamer and Dan Murphy, and Gamer's got himself up into P8 there ahead of Dan Murphy now on the soft compound tyres. No, I don't think there's much to defend there from Dan Murphy there. He knew that the Gamer was going to get through eventually on those soft compound tyres. Oh, he clipped the wall there on the entry to the corner there as Gamer, and I'm not quite sure is the damage there for the Aston Martin driver. We'll have to find out. This camera angle is useless, so it's not helping us. As Jenner there sets the fastest lap of the race there on lap 44. That is good news indeed for Jenner, because that is an extra point for himself and the team. But unfortunately, like I said, only 12 finishes in this one after starting with 18. We should have started with 20 to be fair, but neither Scooby Stew or Sick as Muck were awake enough to get themselves in the lobby either. So there we go. But nonetheless, Gamer now I think might have some damage there. He's lost out to Reflection now. You can see the time dropping down. You can see Dan staying within that DRS range as well. There is damage there for Gamer, though it's not visible on our screens. But there is some sort of damage there for Gamer. He's lost out almost 3/10 to Reflection now, and that is costing him potentially getting himself further up the order in this race, which is very bad news indeed for the Aston Martin driver. He's going to be P8 at best, and I think Dan Murphy might be able to try and get himself back up into P8 as well, potentially with the DRS assistance as well. Gamer's got himself back up into the 1 second window of the McLaren, as I say that as well, so completely against what I said, but there we go. Kydell and Immortal are switching places now. Immortal up into P2. Can he get a win in this race? That would be an amazing feat if he can do. It's going to be close indeed between himself and KD if he can get that win, but hopefully KD can hold on for a unprecedented victory, his first victory as well in the 100% league. If he can, it would be a good feat as well, even with AC Immortal's pace right behind him. It's going to be one hell of a challenge indeed, with only 5 laps to go, or 5.5 laps to go now. Putting the pressure on there is Immortal, but Kydell is going to follow him through as well. Schneider is sticking with these guys as well within that 1 second window. Vessier has dropped off, and now Siege is Siege has actually dropped off from Vessier as well, so I'm not quite sure if there's a bit of a problem there for Siege, but either way they're sticking with it at the moment. Like I said, Reflection and Gamer are staying on course as well. I think Gamer's got himself sorted. I think it might have been just a bit of a loss of confidence there from the Aston Martin driver for the first 3 corners after that contact with the wall, but he's got himself back underway now, and is now within the 7/10 of the McLaren ahead. Here comes the Aston Martin now with DRS available. Let's have a look and see, can he make any moves up at the front? I should say, I'll go back to that battle there, because out at the front it's almost under 1 second here between Immortal and KD as we go down the back straight towards the final turn. He's going to be within the DRS range there on the final corner, on the exit of the final corner I should say, as we go down the main straight to start lap 46, and we can see the red light flashing there on the Aston Martin. He's going to be seeing the AlphaTauri looming in the background very soon indeed as well. DRS is available there for AC Immortal as we go down towards turn 1. He's too far back to make a move move for the time being, but he's going to be now within the 1 second window for the remaining laps until he can get to the back of that Aston Martin. Gamer has got past Reflection up into P7 there for the Aston Martin driver. He's got himself up into P7 there, ahead of Reflection now at the end of lap 45. Yeah, like I said, we thought Gamer had an issue there, but he seemed to be okay now. No damage being done there for the Aston Martin driver, but he's got himself back up into P7, which is good news indeed. The penalty situation is looking like this. We've got 9 seconds for Vessia. That's going to drop him down behind Siege, behind Gamer, behind Reflection, and potentially behind Dan Murphy as well, if Dan Murphy can catch up to the back of the queue by a few more tenths or so. Bannister, I think, will stay in P10. No, he might jump Dan Murphy at this stage of the race as well, and potentially he might jump Vessia also. So it could still come back to a Bannister as well. Potentially some more points on offer if he can stay with this battle as well. But like I said, it's becoming a very interesting battle here as well between the drivers. As here we go up in the front of the grid, Mortal there has lost out. He's lost out that 1 second window to KD. KD is doing a great job there, trying to battle on and keep hold of the lead of this race. Over 1 second is the gap at the moment. There's not going to be any DRS there for Immortal. They're down the main straight. Kydell's going to have DRS though down the main straight. All the red lights are flashing there as we go down, apart from Immortal's. Immortal's the only one not flashing as we go down the main straight to start lap 47 of 50. We're on the final stretch there, 4 laps to go now in this race. Kydell can't make any moves there into turn 1. He's too far back. Let's have a look and see further down the order. Siege making no moves at the moment there. He's right behind Vessia. Gamer is trying to catch up to this battle here between the Red Bull and the Williams ahead of him here as well. Reflection's dropped off the battle with X Gamer there, although he's still being pulled along on those soft compound tyres for the time being. Will we see those tyres drop off before the end of the race? We will have to tell. Jenna, of course, has the fastest lap of the race at the moment. No, he doesn't. AC Immortal's got the fastest lap of the race, unfortunately for Jenna, only by 0.3 of a second, 0.03 of a second, I should say. So potentially, if Jenna has another set of soft compound tyres, I would put them on and go for that fastest lap instead. But like I said, it's been one hell of a race. Like I said, a race of attrition from the beginning, and making sure we stay out those walls and keeping the concentration high. Unfortunately, we've seen 6 drivers there who haven't had the concentration high enough to get to the end of the race, which is a big shame for them. But here comes the 12 that can, and so far they've done a great job. As here comes Kydell, who's just about clinging onto the DRS range of Immortal for the time being. Once again, Immortal outside of the DRS window of the Aston Martin of KD ahead. KD is burning as much as he can to try and stay within that, say, out of that 1 second window. But now Immortal there gets inside of that lucky 1 second window, and now I think he's going to have DRS now down the main straight. He has got DRS down the main straight. Kydell has lost out to the DRS from Immortal. Schneider, I think on the 20 lap old medium compound tyres, is going to be struggling now. He's going to be looking over his shoulder actually very soon, I think, towards Vessia and Siege. Here comes Siege now down towards turn 1. Can he make any moves? No moves made for the Williams driver. Again, we're slotting in behind that Red Bull. He's going to be very sick of the sight of that Red Bull as well, I think, at the end of this race. Immortal now 0.7 of a second behind. He's turning up the wick now, is the AlphaTauri driver. He's on to lap 48. There's only 2 and a bit laps to go now, or 2.5 laps to go now at the end of, or 2 laps to go at the end of this one, I should say. 2.5 laps to go from now, and that red light flashing there is just giving the AlphaTauri a bit more of an incentive to push on, because he knows there's not much that KD can use to fight back at this stage. Into the pits goes Ginner there. I think, like I said, he's putting on the soft compound tyres to go to the end of this race to get a fastest lap there. Like I said, he's only 3/10 off, 300ths off the fastest lap there from Immortal, and Immortal, I think, had DRS as well to set that time, so we might be able to see some good lap time indeed there from Ginner if he can get that fastest lap set as well. But Immortal there pushing on as fast as he can, as hard as he can now. 0.5 of a second there into sector 3 we go, almost losing the car there as we start sector 3. 0.6 of a second the gap as we go now down the back straight towards the final turn to finish off lap 48 of 50. We've got 2 laps to go at the end of this one. Kydell has dropped off the back. He's 2.3 seconds back now. He's absolutely disappeared in the distance compared to these two. But here comes Immortal now down the main straight. Is he going to make a move now on lap 48 or into 49 down the main straight? Immortal sets the fastest lap of the race at 31.085. I think that's 0.3 faster than his previous fastest lap as well. That's pretty good indeed on the medium compound tyres, on 14 lap old medium compound tyres as well, I should say. And now KD under massive pressure. Can he hold back that AlphaTauri and hold on to the first race victory of the season there for himself and for his team as well? Let's see what he can do now as we go through sector 1 on lap 49 of 50. This is the penultimate lap, of course. There is one more lap to go after this one is completed, so it's going to be close points indeed between the two of them. Let's have a look and see, is Immortal going to make the move very soon, or is he going to bide his time and wait for the final lap? We'll have to wait and see what he's going to do, what he's going to choose. He saved up a bit more ERS there than the Aston Martin driver ahead of him now, so it's going to be a bit more electrical energy there for AlphaTauri to use to make the pass. We'll have to wait and see when he's going to deploy. Oh, he's gone wide. That's going to be a penalty, is it? No, it's not a penalty somehow, but that would be a bit dodgy there if that is no penalties at all. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, he's gone wide there. We saw on board, literally just cut the corner there, did the AlphaTauri, so that is an interesting one there. The stewards might have to look at that one if he does win the race, because I think it might be a bit illegal, so I'm not quite sure, but we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, it might be a warning anyway. Might have been a warning for Immortal, but of course he has to pick up 3 warnings to get a penalty, and that will still mean that he stays within the range of the Aston Martin, I should say. Down the main straight we go to finish off lap 49 of 50. On to the final lap we go. Here comes Immortal now. He's got the ERS, he's got the power down, he's got the fastest lap, I think. But he's got the move done as well. He's up into... Oh, it's contact between the Aston Martin and the AlphaTauri into turn 1 and 2, I should say. And I think that is the move done there for Immortal. He's got the move done up into P1. He's claimed the lead, I should say. He's not claimed the victory just yet. But KD is swapping positions there into turn 1. KD is going very deep on the brakes as well there, but he's managing to hold on to the back there of the AlphaTauri for the time being. Let's have a look and see how it's going to end up, as this is the closest battle on track, even with Siege and Vessia still going as well. These two at the top of the field are the closest battle on track for the time being. Let's have a look and see how it's going to finish. As I said, it's going to be close indeed, and like I said, if Immortal there has to cut the corner again, I think he might get a warning, to be fair. Sorry, he might get a penalty, to be fair, even. So KD can still stay within that range and potentially get on. Oh, as KD picks up a penalty as well, that's not good news. That's not exactly not what he wanted. It was exactly not what he wanted, indeed. But he has, I think he's got the... Well, that might entice Kydell, to be fair, to get after the fastest lap as well. As Jinner gets the fastest lap on lap 4. He's beginning lap 50 now. Fantastic stuff indeed for Jinner for keeping at it and getting that extra point as well. Hopefully he can hold on to it. Here comes Immortal, though, as he goes down the back straight there for the final time of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. He's used up all of the ERS there as well as he goes into the final turn. KD is going to cling on to the back of him as much as he can there to try and get himself away from Kydell with his penalty that he's picked up there on the final lap. The checkered flag has fallen there, and Immortal there wins once again in the 100% League. A fantastic race win indeed for the AlphaTauri driver. A really well battled race as well. He had to get through quite a lot of the field at various different stages as well. He has got himself up into P1 to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Commiserations there, to be fair, for KD, because he really deserved that race win, and it looked like it was on for pretty much 45 laps of that race as well. It was a big shame that he lost out on the last few corners, even not even the last lap. But yeah, it was a big shame indeed, because KD well deserved there, and a good result nonetheless. A great podium indeed for the Aston Martin driver. Kydell does finish in P3 in the end. Good stuff indeed from him. Schneidem there on his debut there, his reserve debut in P4. Good stuff from him in the Red Bull. Siege in P5 with 17 lap old, medium combat tire, 24 lap old mediums for Schneidem as well. Fantastic. Siege there did finish in P5 in the end. Gamer there finishes at P6. Reflection in P7. Vessia there in P8 with his penalties there, unfortunately demoted down to P8. Dan Murphy in P9. Bannister does finish in P10. And then we had Vintage, I think it was. Vintage in P11 and Jinner there in P12. Blimey, that was one hell of a race, wasn't it? Hopefully, like I said, we can get our drivers into the interviews and get ourselves underway for that. But what a race indeed. What a race indeed. Yeah, lose the race because of safety cars. Yes, well, we had your teammate actually asking for the safety car to be increased the standard the other week. Yeah, it's on reduced, I can tell you that. But there we go. There he is, AC Immortal there celebrating on the top step of the podium there. KD in P2, well deserved indeed, as Kydell is also on the podium in P3 for the McLaren team as well. Good stuff from all those drivers, and good stuff from all the drivers who managed to finish the race. To be fair, it was a very difficult one. Like I was saying, concentration is key throughout that one, and unfortunately 6 drivers didn't have that concentration to get to the end of the race, and only 12 did, so fair play to the 12 that managed it. Very good stuff indeed, as there we go, the classification there. AC Immortal there, KD, Kydell, Schneidem there, P4, Siege P5, Gamer in P6, Reflection, Vessia, Dan Murphy in P9, Bannister in P10, Vintage in P11 there, just outside the points pay positions by a millimetre, I think it was in the end. No, it was a few seconds unfortunately there for him. Jinner there does get the fastest lap point, so that's good news for Jinner there. Serious Rushman in P13 out of the race. Martin as well as was Kaz, Kiki, Chewie, and Ewok, unfortunately all out of this race. So only 12 finishes in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which we were expecting. To be fair, it is one hell of a race of attrition, and that is it. The race is done and dusted now. We can all have a well-deserved break. So well done to all the drivers who've taken part. I will quickly try and get I'm not quite sure if anybody's invited them to the interview yet. I'll try and get them into the interview party, whatever it's called. Let me search for KD. KD, and we want KD, we want Kydell, and we want AC Immortal. Oh, I don't know if I can find you. There we go. Yeah, we'll just get them in the party there for a quick interview, hopefully. We'll see if they want to join or not. We'll have to find out if they want to join, that is, because I think after that race they might be wanting just to recover and relax. But there we go. Good stuff indeed from all the drivers who've taken part in the race tonight. It's been one hell of a race, like I was saying, in the latter part of that race as well. But there we go. I think we've got a few more people joining the party as well. Fingers crossed we've got everybody coming in now. Yeah, fingers crossed we have. Good stuff. But yeah, what a race that was indeed. We'll go to Kydell first. I think he's joined us as well. Kydell, that was one hell of a race for you. You managed to, we started outside the top three, but in the end you got yourself on podium. So how was that? How did it go overall for yourself?
I'm pretty pleased with the third position. I think Immortal had some issue with the gamer, but yeah, that's a good position for me. I did got a 5-second penalty. I don't know why, because I think the pit entry lane has moved. I got it in qualifying as well. Yeah, it's pretty strange. So yeah, but hey, I served him in the pit and came out behind the gamer. But as I said, he had a bit of contact with Immortal, I think. So that was a position 1 for me.
Well, like I said, another podium from yourself. You must be getting pretty fed up of being on the podium now.
No, not yet. I'd like the highest spot, but as long as Immortal is in the game, that will be a difficult one.
We'll see. We've got a week break, of course, next week, so we've not got a race next week, and then we'll be back in 2 weeks' time from today. We'll be back at Australia. What's your thoughts for Australia as well?
Must be a podium place. I'm used to it now, so.
Well, there we go. Then we've got that. It's nailed on, basically. Then, so that's all sorted.
Thank you.
No, good race for yourself as well, and I think we've got KD in here as well. Is KD in here?
Yeah, I'm here.
KD's here. Well, I was saying for about 45 laps that it was your race to lose, to be fair, and unfortunately then we saw an AlphaTauri there come up behind you and cruelly take it away on the last lap. What was your thoughts when you saw that after the second safety car restart? You saw Immortal there on lap, I think it was lap 46, 47, get up into P2.
Well, I mean, yeah, the safety cars, well, they kind of screwed me because I should have actually won that race a lot bigger than what I anticipated. But yeah, I tried to do the best I could to defend Immortal. I mean, he and I seemed like we were even on pace, even though he didn't qualify, but I feel like we would have had an even race between the both of us because I know he's very quick around Saudi Arabia. But yeah, I'm a bit gutted. I'm a bit frustrated because that should have been my race to win right there. I mean, I know AC Immortal's got pace and all that, but it should have been my race to win. I'm just going to say that. But safety cars is what screwed me there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a bit unlucky. I think it was unlucky for a few people as well, to be fair. But like I said, Immortal, I think he was involved in an incident as well with your teammate at one point under I think it was actually just before the second safety car restart, or the second safety car came out as well. So he had to, I think he had to pit your teammate had to pit as well, and I think he lost a few positions after that as well. So yeah, a bit of a shame there for everybody, really, to be fair, on that last safety car, well, any safety car really. But nonetheless, you showed you had the pace there to win the races as well. And I think, like I said, I was hoping that you were going to win that race as well through the first race win of the season. But it was unfortunate at the end. But it shows that you got the pace there. So hopefully we'll see in the future races that you'll have the same sort of thing happening as well. You'll be able to get a race win under your belt very, very soon as well. And potentially in 2 weeks' time, what's your thoughts with Austria coming up as well?
Austria or Australia? I'm sorry.
Australia, sorry, I must have said Austria, but I meant Australia, the one down under.
Australia, well, I don't mind the track. It's a decent track. I like the new layout and whatnot. It's better than the old layout that we've had in previous games. So, I've had decent races in the past there. Hopefully I can show that, I can be capable of winning there as well. So, that's pretty much all I'll say, but yeah.
Well, fingers crossed we get you back on the podium anyway. We'll see in 2 weeks' time. Of course, we've got the break week now for ALR. We have no races next week. We have the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix on Sunday, so we're going to have to be watching that one instead. But we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, of course, Sunday, not next Sunday, the Sunday after, in Monza. So gold, silver, and bronze will be in Monza in a fortnight's time, and then we'll be back here in 100% on next Wednesday, 2 weeks Wednesdays, on the Australian Grand Prix circuit of Melbourne. So stay tuned for ALR. There's more action coming up after our break week next week.